former USFL star Kelvin Bryant to carry the rushing load as the new-look Redskins look to climb back on top in the NFC East. CBS Sports presents the National Football League. Today, the Philadelphia Eagles against the Washington Redskins. The Redskins beginning their 50th season in the National Football League this afternoon, and they do so before the 150th consecutive sellout crowd here at RFK Stadium. We have been blessed with glorious weather for an afternoon in September. 77 degrees, a slight humidity, a slight wind as well, and the forecast for the afternoon partly sunny. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 1986 NFL season on CBS. I'm Vern Lundquist along with John Madden. John, two familiar teams, but really teams in Philadelphia and Washington, which have undergone some vast changes.
You know, it was interesting when we talked to both coaches yesterday. Joe Gibbs was very nervous, and although he's going into his sixth season as the head coach of the Redskins, he says he really doesn't know what to expect from this team. He has 13 new players. So as you go through preseason, you understand that a little, but you really don't know how they're going to act or react in the regular season. And, of course, on the other side, you have the Philadelphia Eagles, and they have their new coach, Buddy Ryan. Buddy Ryan says he doesn't know what to expect from these players, but I think more importantly, these players don't know what to expect from Buddy Ryan. I think it's going to be a year of surprises from that guy.
No surprise in the opening toss. The Eagles have won it, and they have elected to receive to begin the game. As we said, 150th consecutive sellout. Last time this stadium was not sold out was in 1966. The Redskins will open with a new quarterback today. There's number 64, Steve Hamilton, as the special teams come on the field. 55,000 plus, and a great celebration on hand in the nation's capital this weekend, as some 75 former Redskins have been here for the latter part of the week. On opening day, the Redskins have lost 6 out of 7. Their last opening day win was 1982 against Philadelphia in the strike year. Joe Gibbs said yesterday, boy, we have just got to get off to a decent start.
You know, it's one of those things, and he's really not sure why they haven't, so he's changed a number of things in the preseason. He said, really, in the preseason it hasn't worked, but I hope it does on opening day.
One of the surprises of the summer, number 33, Junior Toddle-Atossi, a 10th round draft pick who will also open at running back, is back to return the kick of Steve Cox. He is joined by Charles Crawford. The 1986 National Football League season is underway. Crawford will down at the one knee and come out to the 20-yard line. And that means that 35-year-old Ron Jaworski takes the field, and these are the men against whom he will play this afternoon. At left end, Charles Mann. Left tackle, Dave Butts. At right tackle, Dean Hamill. And Dexter Manley, who was a holdout and did not play in any of the preseason games. Kaufman, Olkowitz, and Malott, the linebackers, and the defensive secondary, which has not played all that well in preseason. Darrell Green, Vernon Dean, Ken Coffey, and Curtis Jordan. First and 10 from the 20 as the sun once again emerges. Toddle-Atossi and Mike Waters, free agent, are the opening day running backs. Junior Toddle-Atossi for about 1.5. Charles Mann, number 71, made the tackle. Offensively for the Eagles, Jaworski, Toddle-Atossi, Mike Waters, Mike Quick, the all-pro receiver, has been joined by Phil Smith. Some unfamiliar names in those skill positions. Gillespie, Reeves, Jerry Feary, Ron Baker, Leonard Mitchell, and Dave Little, the tight end. Second down and 9. That last game was a gain of 1. Jaworski coming off a pretty good year 1 year ago. Both wide receivers top of the screen. Jaworski's first pass of the year is dropped by Mike Waters at the 25-yard line. 52-year-old Buddy Ryan now in his first game as a head football coach.
He said it's no different, though. He said the only difference is you get a little more money and a bigger office.
They did take a bus down from Philadelphia yesterday, and he said, I never expected that in the NFL.
His first game in the NFL, first regular season game as a head coach. He takes a bus to the game.
Said he hadn't taken a bus to a game since he coached high school football in Gainesville, Texas. 3 wide receiver set and the shotgun. Here comes the blitz by the Redskins. Jaworski goes left. Curtis Jordan is the closest Redskin. Pass was intended for Ron Johnson, second-year man from Long Beach State. And the Eagles will have to kick.
But he's on someone already. See him that he pointed to one guy, pointed to another guy, and then put his hands in. Doggone it. That's no way to start, guys.
John and I last saw John Telchik as Darrell Green goes back to return the kick and had a great season a year ago. We saw Telchik in a Chicago Bear uniform. He was cut and then picked up immediately and replaces Mike Horan out of the University of Texas. And he's gone back to the barefoot kick. He had a shoe on for the Bears. Darrell Green at the 25 with room to run. And the Redskins will open the 1986 season with terrific field position after that 25-yard kick return. Jay Schrader, whoops. Well, it starts early.
You know, it seems like we've seen more of this in the preseason right now into the regular season. His fisticuffs going after a play, but I think sometimes you're going to tend early to have it more on special teams because we said like the Redskins have 13 new players. Most of those new players that make the team are playing on special teams. And these guys are excited. I mean, adrenaline's pumping through them and stuff.
That was Angelo Snipes walking off. There's Jay Schrader. And the Eagle defense against which he will work this afternoon will be lined up in that familiar 46 defense. Byron Darby, Glenn Clark, Reggie White. Linebackers are Cobb, Reichenbach, and Johnson. And the defensive secondary, Young, Cooper Waters, and the All-Pro Wes Hopkins. First down and 10. Double tight end set as usual with a one-back offense for the Redskins. Art Monk is the motion man. Schrader with a play fake. Comes left to Monk, who makes his first catch of 86 and gingerly steps out of bounds after a 5.5-yard gain. Offensively for Washington, it's Schrader replacing Joe Theismann at quarterback, George Rogers at the running back set, Monk and Gary Clark the wide receivers, and Warren and Didier are the tight ends. Offensive line, the Hogs are back. Jacoby, Grimm, Bostic, R.C. Thielman, and Mark May. Second down and 4. Redskins operating from the 44. Not the greatest of preseasons for Jay Schrader. Rogers wiggles to the 42. Greg Brown, number 98, makes the tackle.
You know, an interesting thing on that play, Vern, is Wes Hopkins, you know, who was a free safety, an all-pro free safety, number 48 of the Eagles. In this new 46 defense, he has to play up there as a linebacker. On that last play, he was a linebacker. They ran right at him, and Joe Jacoby blocked him. Now, Joe Jacoby weighs about 310 pounds. Hopkins is saying, geez, last year I used to play back there deep with the guys and point and cover, and now I got to take on 300-pound tackle.
He's had to adjust. First down and 10, Redskins at the 40. No score. Opening quarter at RFK Stadium. Schrader on the half roll. Incomplete. Gary Clark, the intended receiver. You know, it was Wes Hopkins who, when asked about the difference between Marion Campbell, last year's coach, and Buddy Ryan's, I thought had a great line. He says, well, you got to adjust. If you're not, like dinosaurs, you're going to be extinct. They couldn't adjust.
That's right. Wes Hopkins did. You know, we finally see, or we see Kelvin Bryant in the game for the first time. I think he's going to be used in this situation as a receiving running back.
Second and 10. Monk, the motion man. Schrader across the middle, dropped. Art Monk. Hit him right in the breadbasket.
Kelvin Bryant on that time, you know, he's brought in now. Now, he's only been here a couple weeks, and Joe Gibbs says we have a package for him about 5 different things. The first thing he had to do was block. He thought he was coming in here to be a receiver, and watch him. They come on a blitz. He has to stand in there and block the blitzing safety. He said, hey, when I signed that contract, you talked about me as a receiver and a running back. No one said about blocking blitzes and stuff.
$3.7 million to block, huh? Third down and 10 from the regular set. No blitz by the Eagles. Schrader doesn't have time. The rush got there. Ken Clark, number 71, was the first.
You know, it's an interesting thing that the Redskins only had 3 sacks. Schrader was only sacked 3 times in the preseason. Joe Gibbs was saying yesterday he thinks that's one of the biggest things about Schrader. It's not easy to sack, but of course you have to have better blocking than that. You see 3 guys got 3 there. That was 3 missed blocks. That's no way to start on pass protection.
Steve Cox is on the kick, and Bill Smith needs to return for Philadelphia. That will tumble into the end zone, touchback. So the Eagle defense, the 46 defense of Buddy Ryan, holds once Washington gets inside the 50-yard line. And Philadelphia's got the ball back with 12:24 to go in a scoreless first quarter. And the Eagles went rather quickly on us, and Mike Waters ran up the middle for a 5-yard gain while we were away, so it'll be 2nd down and 5 Eagles. Philadelphia held defensively once the Redskins got inside the 50. 12:20 to go. 2nd down and 5. No score in the game. Waters and Junior Tonlatossi, the running backs. Ernest Jackson, Michael Haddix on the bench. Jaworski doesn't find the time and is dropped for 12 at the 22 by Dave Butts. That might get Dave Butts excited for the game, John.
Well, that's what Joe Gibbs says. You know, he said, we need a great Dave Butts. He said, I don't know, there's some button that you push, but when he starts off and plays well early, he can have a big day for you. Now, this is a pretty good start here. He starts in there against Ron Baker, gets him off the block, boom, and comes up with a sack.
36 years of age. Randall Cunningham has come in as a quarterback now. This is something we were told to expect, a situational offense for the Philadelphia Eagles. And Cunningham, the second-year man, is in, going deep for Bill Smith, and he can't hang on. That's a brand new concept that Buddy Ryan is going to use with the Eagles, John.
Well, what he said is that, you know, if it's long yardage, like 3rd and long, that changes everything the defense has to do. Now they have to think of a guy who can run. That's one of the problems with Jaworski. He's really not a mobile quarterback. Randall Cunningham is. So he brought Randall Cunningham in there in the 3rd down play, and I think we're going to see a lot of that today.
Darrell Green back to return his 2nd punt of the 1986 season, and John Kelchick is back to punt it. Flags are down. And that will be against the Redskins. Let's see if we can break up the pile without a second wrestling match.
Those are 2 things you usually say early, Vern. One is the fight at the end of the play, and the other thing is the flag on the play, someone blocking illegally from behind.
Now we know the season is underway.
No, we know, yeah. And we know that special teams are really in there playing now.
Bob Boylston is our referee today. Gene Barth, I beg your pardon. Boylston, the umpire.
We have offsetting fouls. We got 89 ineligible downfield on the kick for Philadelphia. A personal foul, clipping on the run back. 45 of the receivers will re-kick.
Bring it back, start it over. Elsewhere, Chicago has already tied up Cleveland 7-7 first quarter. And Atlanta with an early lead over New Orleans down in the Superdome in New Orleans, 7-0. There is Darrell Green. 23 yards officially on the first kick. Won the NFL fastest man competition against a bunch of the speedsters in this league. He's quick.
He's going to have his work cut out today because he's playing man-to-man all day on Mike Quick, the Eagles' best receiver, and he's going to return punts, and he may, someplace in the game, be inserted as a wide receiver.
He was used in the last preseason game against Atlanta and caught a pass for 8 yards.
See that? The official just told him to tuck his shirt in.
Whoops. Here's Kelchick. There's Washington. Steve Hamilton, number 64.
Thing just took off on him. He really didn't have a chance. He got up as high as he could. He had no chance to get a kickoff, and the only thing he could do was jump on the ball. But man, that thing was sailing. That was it down. He tried to pick it up and kick it. Of course, he couldn't. He did the next best thing. Great field position for the Redskins.
That was Dave Little, the tight end, who centers for punts, and the Redskins have it inside the 10. Down at the 5-yard line. 10:47 to go, and a scoreless first quarter in the first serious threat of the game.
You know, the Redskins, of course, don't have John Riggins. George Rogers just ran that play that Riggins made so famous. Riggins used to run it to the right all the time. Rogers doesn't run as well to the right, so now they take that same play, that counter tray, and run it back to the left.
Second down and goal from the 6 in the scoreless first quarter. Pursuit led by Byron Darby, number 94. And he'll be stopped at the 3. Darby drawing only his second National Football League start today.
You know, it's interesting. They talk about we see Kelvin Bryant coming in on this third down play for George Rogers, which would mean to me that the Redskins are probably going to pass in this situation. But here's the area that they missed Riggins. I think of all the things Riggins did, and maybe the best in football, was this short yardage goal line area.
Third and goal from the 4. Wide receivers, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Schrader looks for Monk. Knocked out of bounds, short of the touchdown by Roydell Young. And it will be 4th and goal from the 2 as Schrader looks back at Joe Gibbs, and the field goal unit comes on.
Well, and the fans boo, and the quarterback looks at the coach, but they have to. If you're going to run a third down play, you have to get it in the end zone. Now, Monk should have got up. Now you have to go to the goal line. You have to work up deeper. See, he ran that pattern a little short. Had he got up into the end zone a couple yards, now he can come back and still get a touchdown. He shortened that off too much.
There's Mark Mosley, who is the only man on the field who has played for both of these teams. In 1970, he was a 14th round draft choice of the Eagles. Mosley gets the first Redskins score of 1986 with a field goal from 19 yards out. The Redskins, however, did not get what they wanted, and that was 6 points. It's 3-0 on the 19-yard Mark Mosley field goal. 4 plays, 6 yards at 134, and a pretty good play by Roydell Young on the goal line. They have denied the Redskins that touchdown. Charles Crawford, a rookie out of Oklahoma State, is one of 2 deep men. The other is junior Todd-Latossi, the 10th round rookie from Washington State, where he backed up Reuben Mays. Steve Cox. There's Todd-Latossi. Oh, what a surprise he's been this summer.
Well, you know, he averaged like 9.2 yards per carry, and Buddy Ryan says anyone can see that he should be the starter. He said he's the most productive guy we had all summer. The guys behind him are like first-round draft choices and Pro Bowl players and all that.
With the kick. Crawford 2 yards back, and for the second time will take the touchback. Our score is 3-0. Now let's go to Brent Musburger in New York for this NFL update.
Well, Vernon John, an ex-Redskin by the name of Charlie Brown, caught this touchdown pass from Dave Archer. Atlanta over New Orleans 7-0. You remember downtown Charlie Brown, don't you, John? Back to you and Vern.
Who can forget downtown Charlie Brown?
I think they could have used downtown Charlie Brown on that last play there and got one in the end zone.
Eagles get it back. They trail by 3. We've got 9:16 to go first quarter. Jaws is still the quarterback. Jaworski in the flat overthrows Todd-Latossi. Jaws now in his 13th season. Green Bay leading Houston 3-0. Jaworski had that broken leg in '84 and came back pretty strong last year. He was fascinating, I thought, last night, talking about whether or not the players reacted well to Buddy Ryan immediately.
Well, yeah, and he, I think that Ron Jaworski looks better this year in the preseason than he has in 5 years.
Do you?
Yeah. The thing is, he said about Buddy, he said it's not behind closed doors. You read it in the paper what he thinks of you.
That is short. Totalatoski puts a fairly decent move on, but gets only to the 21. As Darrell Green, number 28, didn't go for the fake and made the tackle. There is Randall Cunningham, second-year man from Nevada, Las Vegas, coming in on 3rd and 9.
I think this is an interesting thing, because that's something that teams have always really been against in the NFL, is changing quarterbacks within a game and having a 3rd down guy. I think it's an interesting concept.
Cunningham has that great running ability, which makes him such a double threat out of the shotgun. Wentz is coming. Good protection. And the official almost got it away. And Mike Waters and Mel Kaufman think about having at it. Flag is down.
I think maybe they threw, one thing the officials are probably going to do is get a little tighter control. I think in this type of game they have to do that. This is the second time something broke out.
Unnecessary roughness, 55 of the receivers during the dead ball. After the penalty, it'll be 1st and 10.
Well, this time they said they're going to do something about it. Not just let it go on.
There is the dead ball, and Kaufman and Waters.
I think it's going to happen yet.
Well, I'm glad to see there's no offsetting penalties.
Yeah, they let Mike Waters get away with that push back.
Right.
That really wasn't a violent thing that Mel Kaufman did right there. It was a little push and a push back. But I think it's good. I think it's good for the officials to say, okay, it's going to be that type of game. We're going to get it under control early.
1st and 10 Eagles. 3-0 Washington leads. 8 minutes to go. Here's Totalatoski. Out to the 47-yard line.
But those are the type of things that kill you as a coach, because here it was 3rd down. The Redskins stopped them. They would have gotten the ball back, but instead the Eagles get a 1st down near midfield. Those are the types of things that, takes a coach like Joe Gibbs and makes you wonder, what am I doing in this game? Why am I here? There has to be more to life than this.
He does get a little upset prior to ball game. 2nd down and 7. Deep right side. Phil Smith. Darrell Green. Phil Smith has the ball. And is out of bounds at the 17-yard line.
Hey, that was one of those things, Vern. It was a pretty good play for everyone. It was a good throw by Jaworski. The coverage wasn't bad here by Darrell Green, and it was an excellent move and catch by Phil Smith. Watch him. Green is in pretty good position there. See the ball, but Jaworski threw it exactly where it had to be, over Smith's right shoulder, so that Green couldn't get there.
Watch Dexter Manley, meanwhile.
Of course, he's going against Tom Gillespie. Manley has to be their big pass rusher. It's the first time he played all year, and Gillespie did a good job of pass protection.
That was a 36-yard pass and catch by Phil Smith, his first in the NFL, the former 4th-round draft choice of the Colts. Smith starts in motion, and Jaworski gets good protection again, but nobody's open. Across the green to David Little, and he drops the ball behind him. It was a tough catch inside the 10. Charles Mann had pretty good pressure, number 71.
Dave Little has beaten out John Spagnola, and I think that Jaworski, especially in that situation, would like to see Spagnola there. Now, the reason Little beat out Spagnola is he has good speed. He's like 4'5", 4'6", and he can run those deeper patterns, posts and corners that Spagnola couldn't. But that type of thing, that little hook between the hash marks, Spagnola could do as well as anyone.
There's John Spagnola. He also held out this summer and thus got demoted to second team and hasn't been able to get his job back. 2nd down and 10. Jaworski up high, almost intercepted. Intended for Mike Quick on the slant end. And Curtis Jordan was diving for the ball, number 22.
That's a dangerous type pass when you throw that in there down there, because that weak safety, as Curtis Jordan is, he's sitting right there in the middle. He's sitting right there in the hole, and you see he's just waiting. He's just waiting for Quick to come in. And even if he catches the ball, he's going to get it right there. And if not, you see what happens.
Third down and 10 from the 17 with 7:05 to go first quarter. 3-0 Washington leads. Delayed blitz. Jaworski deep in the corner. Diving catch. Touchdown. Ron Johnson had to lean way out, parallel to the ground, to make the grab.
I tell you, in this drive, those were two great throws by Ron Jaworski. And it's a good move here by Johnson. Watch, he's going to go to the corner out here to his right. But he comes in, he sells Dean in there to the inside, holds Vernon Dean, then stops, and then runs back to the corner. That's a corner pattern. You start into the post, sell him on the post, and run back to the corner.
Paul McFadden will try and give Philadelphia a 7-3 lead, which he has now done. An 80-yard drive in 8 plays. One of the key plays was the penalty on Mel Kaufman, but 2 big catches by Smith, and then Ron Johnson for the touchdown. They're back in sold-out RFK Stadium in the nation's capital. The Eagles have gone 80 yards in 8 plays to take the lead over the Redskins 7-3. Big catch by Ron Johnson. It took only 2:22, a 17-yard touchdown pass for Ron Jaworski. But one will look back and call the key play, I think, that the penalty on Mel Kaufman on the 3rd down play. Keith Griffin, number 35 for the Redskins, takes Paul McFadden's kick and counter punches to the 27. Let's take one more look, John, at the touchdown.
Well, here's Ron Johnson here. Now, where he does a good job, this is Vernon Dean. He comes in like he's going into the post. Dean reacts and gets inside him. Now Johnson breaks back to the corner. Jaworski leads him where Dean can't do anything about it. Watch the good set. See, he comes in. Now he goes in like he's going into the post. Boom, whap. Now he comes back to the corner, gets a couple steps on Dean, and a perfect pass by Jaworski.
Jay Schrader has the Redskins at the line of scrimmage with George Rogers behind him and a tight end in the backfield. Almost a 10-man front for the Eagles now defensively. And Rogers pops a big one. Warnell Young and Reggie White haul him down after a gain of 42 yards.
You know, that's the thing about that defense. It's an all-or-none thing. You're going to get some big plays. Watch how the defense plays. The Eagles have all 11 guys up here. No one's back here in the backfield. So when you break through, you got a big play. See, they have all 11 men up in the line of scrimmage. Now watch Rogers on the counter. He breaks through there, breaks one tackle. Now there's no one else to make the tackle until he gets about 40 yards.
Kelvin Bryant in the backfield for the Redskins now with a first down at the 31. 3 wide receiver set. Jay Schrader drills it right side. Caught by Clint Didier. And now let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Well, Vernon, John, Joe Montana is starting to answer some questions about that shoulder operation. Here's his first touchdown pass of the season. Mike Wilson and the 49ers are having a pretty easy time of it. They lead Tampa Bay 14-0. Let's go back to Washington.
All right, Brent, 7-3 is our score here with 5:28 to go first quarter. 2nd down and 3 for the Redskins. Kelvin Bryant remains in the backfield. Bryant, a $3.7 million 4-year contract out of the USFL at North Carolina. Still hasn't touched the ball. Schrader ducks under a tackle and wings it away.
That could have been a big play for the Redskins to burn. Again, Vern, because the Eagles did the same thing. They had all 11 men up in the line of scrimmage. They had the blitz on. One of the blitzers came free, but Schrader was still able to get the ball away, although there was no one open. And that's Buddy Ryan's theory. We're going to go after you, but the quarterback's not going to have. Now watch from the left of the screen. We're going to see the blitzer coming free. His idea is you may have guys open, but you're not going to have time to throw it to the guy. Here Schrader got a little time by ducking the blitzer.
3rd and 3. Redskins trailing 7-3. Straight drop back, comes left, intercepted. And here the race is on as Evan Cooper has picked off the pass for Philadelphia. It was intended for James Noble, number 83, and Noble had it pop right through his hands.
You know, that's why I always say you have to catch the ball out in front. You can't let the ball get into your body where it hits your shoulder pad. You see where his hands were? He had his hands in tight, so the ball hit his hands and the shoulder pads at the same time. Bounces out, and there's Evan Cooper, number 21. You see his hands are too close to the body. That ball hit the shoulder pad. Cooper's right there. Boom, says, heck, I'll take it.
And so for the second time inside the 40, the Redskins have been not denied a touchdown. And Philadelphia leading 7-3 has a first down at its own 35-yard line. Jaworski to pass for the 9th time in the first quarter. Lobs it out to Tuttle and Carsey, and he can't hang on. He had some dropsy here. Minnesota leading Detroit 3-0 first quarter. And the Bears rolling now over Cleveland. Houston leading Green Bay by 4 in the second. And you saw the update from Brent Musburger, 14-0 there.
See Buddy Ryan now talking to his defensive players. What he does is he tries different things early in the game. Then he asks the players what they're doing against it and how they block it. And that determines what his next step is going to be.
Second down and 10. Switchbacks. Kemp's pass for Jaworski. David Little makes the catch this time, and he's close for the first down at the 45-yard line. Ken Coffey, number 48, made the tackle. Little now in his 3rd year out of Middle Tennessee. There's Ken Coffey from Southwest Texas State in San Marcos. That was good for the first down, and we've got a 1st and 10 for the Eagles. 4:48 to go, first quarter, 7-3. Philadelphia leads. Center is Jerry Feary. He's one of 6 new starters for the Eagles on offense. A lot of names you don't know. Jaworski, Phil Smith, and he's popped right at the point of contact by Darrell Green.
I tell you, that's a dangerous pass to throw. You know, we just saw what happened down in the other thing when you try and catch a ball too close to your body. But when you're working against a guy like Darrell Green, who is so quick and is such a good defender, if he gets another step jump on that thing, he's taking it the other way.
We are live at RFK Stadium in Washington. The 150th straight sellout. I'm Vern Lundquist with John Madden. The Eagles lead 7-3. They got there on a 17-yard touchdown toss from Ron Jaworski to Ron Johnson. It's second down and 10, Eagles. No blitz. Pass in the flat for a yard or two. David Little makes his second catch. Mel Kaufman makes the tackle. Now let's see if Randall Cunningham comes in on 3rd down.
This is a situation that he's been putting Randall Cunningham in, and he is coming in. They just gave him the play, so he brings the play in with him. It'll probably be a shotgun-type play, and something where he has, if he sees an opening, an option to run.
Do you like this idea of situational offense?
I like it, yeah. I like it with this team.
3rd and 9. Here's where Cunningham is dangerous. There's a flag down at the 42-yard line. But that is precisely why Buddy Ryan has him in the game.
And that's precisely why I like it. You know, that's something that Ron Jaworski couldn't do. I mean, he can't do it now. He couldn't do it 5 years or 10 years ago. You know, it's going to be a penalty against him.
Holding, number 32, will tack on 5 yards at the end of the run.
But it's still a big play. In fact, the penalty was against the Redskins, but it's still the big play. You know, it gives you the option. You see what happens here? He's ready. The minute he sees Manley, number 72, take an inside rush, he knows that he has the corner over in that left side. Now, because it's a pass, you say, where are the defensive backs? They're covering the receivers. So you run off the defensive backs like this. You see, they're downfield. The backs are turned. They're covering. In fact, there's the hold on Vernon Dean. They're covering, and then Cunningham has the run when the line takes the inside rush.
Now first down, and Jaws is back in. Latossi up the middle to the 31. We don't want to belabor this, but it is something new. And I know, John, that down in Dallas, the Cowboys have a man very much like Randall Cunningham and Reggie Collier, and they are thinking of doing the same thing with him.
Well, maybe if Buddy Ryan starts, Randall Cunningham does it, and the Eagles are successful with it, it may not only go to Dallas, but other places around the league. You can always tell when the guy may go in, he keeps his hat in his hand. You see him?
Second down and 9. Eagles lead 7-3, and they threaten again from the 38-yard line. Into the flat drop. Mike Waters. Minnesota still leading 3-0. Rams and St. Louis have played one, and they're still scoreless. And Randall Cunningham comes back in the lineup.
You know, it's one thing I'm sure Buddy Ryan is looking at Jaworski, and he said, I don't know, but these running backs that Buddy is starting today have dropped an awful lot of balls. In fact, I think they've dropped 3 or 4 passes so far.
Latossi and Waters sure have. It's third down and 9 from the 29. 5-man rush. Cunningham ducks out of it, but can't get away. Steve Hamilton, second-year man from East Carolina, number 64. It'll be fourth down.
You know, I think that's one thing you have to do. When the Eagles put in a guy like Cunningham, then you got to put in a new, fresh rusher, because these guys that are playing a line, playing every down, really can't be chasing Cunningham around. Then you put in a fresh guy like the Steve Hamilton. He comes in, and when Cunningham starts to move, he can move with him.
John Telchik is in to punt, a little bit outside of Paul McFadden's range. So Telchik, who interestingly enough, as we said, has gone back to the barefoot, having donned a shoe during his short stay in Chicago. Let's see if he's still that courageous in December. There's the pooch kick. And it was just about perfect. It'll be a touchback. So the Redskins have held, and they get the ball back, but they trail with 2:45 to go in the first quarter. Returns to CBS next Saturday as the 9th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes try to rebound from their opening loss to Alabama. They go out to Seattle to take on the Washington Huskies, and you can see it all live at 2:30 Eastern Time next Saturday on CBS Sports. Washington trying to rebound from an off year a year ago. We have played just about a quarter, and we have had only 8 running plays so far by both teams. There's Reggie White. Buddy Ryan says he's the best defensive player he's ever had. And that takes in a lot of territory.
Hey, he's a good player. Playing over the center now. He loves that.
George Rogers, who ripped off a 42-yarder in the last drive, doesn't get anything this time. Let's take a look at Reggie White.
Well, you know, he has all that combination. I mean, he runs like a 4.6, but he's strong. Look at those arms. I mean, he gets down there, takes on that center, takes on the guard. That's Keelman blocking. Just pushes Keelman right back. Just takes him, shoves him right back, comes down that line, and gets in on the tackle. I mean, he got all that stuff. I mean, he's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's smart. He got all those things.
Sounds like you in your prime.
No, never.
Second and 9. Kelvin Bryant back in the lineup. Hasn't touched the ball yet. Trainer looks for him, and now Bryant gets it for the first time in a Washington uniform. Face mask. So they'll tack on some yardage. Alonzo Johnson, the rookie out of Florida, second-round draft choice, made the tackle and grabbed the face mask.
It'll be the 5-yard variety. They have 2 penalties for face mask. One is 15 yards if it's
a 5-yard face mask penalty. 54 defense will tack on 5 yards and replay the second down.
And of course, that was a 5-yard variety where you do it, but you didn't mean to do it. Alonzo Johnson does. He's just reaching out for Kelvin Bryant, and he gets a hold of the face mask. Of course, had he not gotten a hold of the face mask, he didn't have anything else. Kelvin Bryant may still be running.
Rodgers is back in for the Redskins. Second down and 4, 7-3, Eagles lead. Schrader. Steadier. Wes Hopkins and Roydell Young finally get him down to 45 in Philadelphia.
Very impressive by Jay Schrader because that was an audible. Vern, he audibleized. He saw the tight coverage up there. He saw that there was no help inside, so he's going to hit Didier right here on a slant. He changed the play on the line of scrimmage when he saw that coverage.
Jay Schrader, of course, had a Cinderella debut in the NFL when Joe Theismann went down on Monday night last year. Schrader, a former third-round draft choice out of UCLA, led the Redskins to that victory. He was really an unknown quantity in the draft when Bobby Bettner plucked him in the third round. Schrader fakes under some pressure, off-balance throw up for grabs, tipped away, no flag. Art Monk, the intended receiver, and Roy L. Young knocked it down.
Yeah, you can tell when Jay Schrader is audibleizing. If he says yellow, if you hear yellow, that means nothing. If it's another color, if you hear a white, then that means it's going to be an audible. Now, he's strong enough to throw a ball like that. He was running back, off balance, to still get the ball out there.
Kelvin Bryant back in the lineup. Look at Joe Jacoby, or a portion of him, a very small portion of him. You can't see all of them in the screen.
Parts of Jacoby.
Second and 10. 7-3, Philadelphia leads. 42 seconds to go, first quarter. Monk in motion. Rush coming. Byron Darby chasing Schrader. Another drop. We've had about 5 today. And this was Art Monk's second. I'll tell you something amazing about him. With 91 catches last year, only 2 touchdowns.
Well, you know, he's the type of guy that everyone's going to double. And I think the closer you get to the end zone, the more likely you are to double an Art Monk. Now, that's the type of thing, that last play, that a Jay Schrader can do. You know, they have a new rollout. That's an organized rollout. He threw that ball about as well as you can. Now, Monk's going to catch those things 99 times out of 100.
3rd and 10 from the Eagle 45-yard line. Kelvin Bryant is back in the lineup. It'll be 4th and 15 from the 50. Well, Joe Gibbs said yesterday we've changed the engine and we've rebuilt the engine. I don't know whether it's going to run.
Well, he doesn't know how it's going to run, and it's not running too smoothly thus far. That thing on there, Schrader just fell down coming out. You know, it's right there where that field is marked there. I don't know if he hit that 50th anniversary or not.
That may have been what did it. Steve Cox is on the punt, and Phil Smith is the deep man, waits at the 10-yard line. Final few seconds of the first quarter wind down. Cox takes a low drop and then gets it way up in the air. And Smith signals for the fair catch at the 16-yard line. 34-yard kick, but it was sky high for Steve Cox. Picked up Cleveland last year. And we've got 1 second left in the clock, so time for one more play. Last time this facility was not sold out, Otto Graham was the coach here. Tells you how far back it goes. And Kilmer and Jurgensen were the quarterbacks.
And they're back today. They're having a 50th anniversary party, and all their old players are here. Billy Kilmer came in before the game to see it. Sonny Jurgensen is in the booth right next door, doing the game for Redskin Radio.
Connell Latossi for a couple. Bill Kaufman makes the tackle. And that should be the final play of the first quarter. For great taste, there's only one light beer. Your local BMW dealer. BMW, the ultimate driving machine, and by IBM. We are live in the nation's capital. I'm Vern Lundquist along with John Madden. The Redskins and the Philadelphia Eagles in an NFC Eastern Division rivalry. Philadelphia on top 7-3, but the Redskins drove 3 times across midfield. The only thing they had to show for it was a 19-yard field goal by Mark Mosley.
Yeah, the Redskins have really been self-destructing. You know, they stopped the Eagles at one time, then they had the penalty for piling on and dead ball, and the Eagles went down and scored. They had a 3rd down play there. Jay Schrader fell down. taking the ball from center, and they're kind of snake-bitten here in this first half.
Schrader getting taped on his non-throwing hand, his left hand, as we get set for the second quarter of Buddy Ryan's first National Football League game. Out of Oklahoma, he is the only assistant coach to ever participate in 3 Super Bowl victories for the Jets and the Bears, of course.
The other one I remember well because I was in that game, the Minnesota Vikings. It was Minnesota Vikings and the Raiders in Super Bowl 11. Buddy was the defensive coach for the Vikings.
Thank you, John. Second down and 9. The memory goes when you hit 46. Jaworski looks left. Mike Quick. He's got a first down to the 30-yard line. We were reminded last night of a fascinating story about Mike Quick. And let's take a look at the chalkboard.
You know, the interesting thing was it looked like here's Quick right here. When the motion comes outside, both these guys go out here and just let Quick go down the middle. Watching the motions coming outside. Watch both Redskins come out and just leave Mike Quick right there open all by himself in the middle.
Well, we talked about Kelvin Bryant. How about Keith Byers in the lineup for the first time now for the Eagles? Their #1 draft choice. He's playing about 2 months earlier than most folks thought he would. Number 42 from Ohio State. And he has to block on his first play in the NFL. Phil Smith makes the grab from Jaworski. And is there a fumble or is there not? I think it was a dead ball. The official said no, it's down. And the Eagles retain possession of the ball. Buddy Ryan likes what he's seeing so far. Let's go to Brent Musburger in New York for this NFL update.
Well, Vern, Martina Navratilova is on a roll. She closed out Helena Sukova in the first set, 6-3. She is up 1-love, and of course, Martina is attempting to win her 3rd U.S. Open Championship. At the half, we'll take a look at the upcoming men's final on CBS. Back to Vern and John.
Okay, Brent, a lot going on. I saw Martinez win over Steffi Graf yesterday. That's one of the best women's tennis matches I have ever seen. Second down. Here goes Jaworski back to throw. Into the flat again. This is caught for another Philadelphia first down, and Mike Quick makes the grab. Darrell Green was defending.
You know, one of the things I think, when Buddy Ryan came to the Eagles, everyone thought, well, the defense is going to improve, and what really improved in the preseason was the offense. And I'm impressed with this group. I mean, he has a new offensive line, 2 new backs that really haven't done much yet, but this offensive line is doing a good job of pass protecting this first part of the game for Ron Jaworski.
There is Keith Byers, who hasn't had any contact since last year at Ohio State. Had that stress fracture of his foot. And he gets the handoff for his first carry in the NFL. He'll remember it, even if a lot of other folks won't. Didn't go for much.
Well, Buddy Ryan said, he has to get in there and get bounced around a little and, get used to the contact because he really hasn't had it. He said it's been a big plus for him. They didn't expect to have Keith Byers until November. And he said, here we go. We start the opening game of the season, and he's available.
A lot of folks thought they took a big gamble in drafting him in the first round last year. Rumors circulating about medical reports that said he was not fit to play in the NFL because of the foot problem. And that's going to draw the ire of somebody. See, Gene Barth identified.
False start.
Yep.
66 offense. 5-yard penalty. We'll replay second down.
That's Ken Reeves.
Yeah, those poor offensive linemen, they never get anything except, the guy blocks all day. Jaworski has time. He jumps offside once and boom. Everyone tells him, number 66 jumped offside. The ref will never say, hey, 66 made a heck of a block. You see it? Yeah. They just say he was offside.
That's our responsibility. See, we got to do that.
That's right.
Get those guys, the big tough ones. Second down and 15. 7-3, Eagles lead. 12:20 to go, first half. Jaworski for David Little. A flag is down in the offensive backfield. And Vernon Dean throws the ball at the line judge.
You know what? Gene Barth could say Ken Reeves on that play wasn't offside, but he missed his block.
Poor guy's going to get his name called twice.
Yeah, Dean Hamill just went right by him.
illegal use of the hands, a shot to the face, 77 deep offense, 10-yard penalty. We'll replay the down.
What Reeves? It was Tom Gillespie.
No, it was Tom Gillespie, but Reeves missed his man. Reeves was beaten on that play. Gillespie hit his guy in the face. The offensive line, right after you say, geez, they're doing a good job, they have boom, boom, a guy jumps offsides and the guy hits the guy in the face.
And Buddy Ryan immediately turns to Cunningham and said, "You're in." And Jaworski says, "Thank the Lord."
Oh, for that, when you get this, what am I supposed to do, Coach? I'm in, but give me a play to pick up 30 yards.
So Jaws will rest and Cunningham will try and make some magic. 2nd and 25. There's going to be holding on this play, too, as Byers takes the pass. That was out where even I could see it.
It's going to be on Tom Gillespie, the left tackle. He was holding Dexter Manley. In fact, it was even more than a hold.
It was a takedown.
It
was. Gillespie's going to get his name called twice.
Yep. He hit Manley in the face in the play before, and this time he held him.
77 offense, holding, 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Gillespie, number 77, here just got 25 yards or 30 yards of penalty. See him here, he's not in bad shape, but the hold comes, his right arm was on the back of Manley, and he brought him down. And that was right out in front of everyone, because Manley was getting close to that quarterback.
Gillespie, in his 2nd year out of Purdue, he was a free agent last year and played on specialty. That's where they had problems a year ago in that spot. Kevin Allen was their #1 draft choice, and he simply did not work out. So Gillespie is a starter at left tackle. 2nd and 35. Somewhat limited offensive options on this play. And the 30-second clock had wound down.
You know what happened on that play? Cunningham was in the shotgun, and with the crowd yelling, he couldn't hear, or they couldn't hear him. So he had to go up to the center to let them know what he was going to do, and then try and get back, and the 30-second clock ran out.
And it's running again as Kenny Jackson comes in the lineup, #1 draft choice of a couple of years ago, who's lost his starting spot to Bill Smith.
But that's the problem, really, with the shotgun when you're playing on the road.
They need to get to the Redskin 43 and a quick kick, but it's blocked and picked off by the Redskins at the 29. Jaworski told us that Cunningham might quick kick. They tried it, but the Redskins were ready.
I don't know that they were ready. I think they were probably just going in like they were going to rush him like he was a passer. See, they don't know now he's kicking. They're just rushing the passer. I think he kicked his own guy. It was Ron Baker, his right guard, number 63. I think he kicked him right in the backside. And the ball went up in the air, and Rich Malott was there, and he got the return. So yeah, he just kicked a low one. He kicked a low liner right into the hip area.
Could have been a double play. Hip area, huh? Euphemistically, Redskins trailing 7-3, have it at the 28. Monk starts in motion. Schrader into the flat. Another flag is down.
It looks like that could be holding against the Redskins. They're having trouble with the passing game, staying away from penalties.
Holding, 53 offense, 10-yard penalty. We'll replay the down.
That is Joe Bostic.
He's right in the middle. You see Bostic, Jeff Bostic, number 53. You see that left hand? His guy starts to go to the outside. He had his left hand, and he knew that they were watching him. He pulled the hand away. You know, in the film that we watched, it looks like Reggie White is such a good defensive lineman. Looks like one of the best ways to block him is to hold him. I think he's going to draw a lot of holding penalties.
First down and 20 Redskins. They operate from the Eagle 38-yard line. 10:35 to go in the first half. Schrader hands it off to Rogers, or Kelvin Bryant, rather, to the 36-yard line. And Wes Hopkins, number 48, made the tackle.
You know, the thing when I looked at Kelvin Bryant yesterday, I was amazed how small he was. You know, I had watched him, and he used to be number 44, and he looked so much bigger. I looked at him yesterday out in practice. He has little old skinny legs and little old skinny arms. And, you know, he's really not a big guy. But maybe, you know, that 44, I think the number 44 makes you look bigger.
Well, of course, and Riggins wore it and really looked big for the Redskins. Second down, 18 from the 36. Schrader, hands open. Kelvin Bryant, welcome to the National Football League.
They were going to do with him. Look, here's Kelvin Bryant right here. All he does is run a straight right here. Just runs straight up. Schrader comes back, finds him straight up the seam. See, now that's what they want to do. He's not really going to be the running back or the 1st and 10 back yet. Watch him. He's out here, makes a little move up. It's against the zone. He has a linebacker on him, just runs straight up the hash mark, and Schrader hits him for a touchdown.
Mosley for the extra point. The Redskins go back on top. 9:48 to go in the first half of play. A 36-yard touchdown toss. Jay Schrader to Kelvin Bryant. Washington leads him 10-7. Clock. Jay Schrader finds him, and the Redskins go 28 yards in 2 plays. It took 1:14 after the attempted quick kick by the Philadelphia Eagles on a 2nd down and 40, and the Redskins on top now 10-7. Steve Cox getting ready to kick off, and Charles Crawford and Junior Tomalatossi are the deep men.
I think that's one thing that usually happens when the quick kick hits your right guard in the back, the other team scores.
That could be the title of your next book.
Yeah, let's watch that again. Here's Wes Hopkins, who should be the center fielder, and here we see Kelvin Bryant. Now what happens is Reichenbach has to get him because Hopkins comes this way and can't get back. Of course, once they get to this point and they're even, then it's just going to be a foot race. But watch your weak safety in the middle. Hopkins, see him coming over to this side. Now Reichenbach has Kelvin Bryant right there. That's a mismatch. Hopkins can't get back. Finally does. Misses a tackle. That's how the Redskins got their touchdown.
Ron Jaworski, 8 of 16 for 95 yards. 1st and 10, Eagles at the 20. They'll hand it off. Mike Waters, nothing there. The ground game hasn't worked at all for Philadelphia. Waters playing in place of Michael Haddix, a former #1 draft choice. He's a free agent, 24 years old, from San Diego State, who was drafted 9th by the Jets last year and then cut in preseason.
Yeah, he was used mostly in the preseason more as a blocker and a pass receiver than he was as a running back. You see, he only averaged 2.2 yards.
2nd and 9. 10-7, Redskins lead with 9:05 to go in the first half of play. Up high, Keith Byers makes the catch. His first as a pro. He's 230 pounds. Funny how Buddy Ryan yesterday, when John asked him about Keith Byers, he just kind of paused and says, "Oh, he's something."
Well, you know, we were talking about offense, and Buddy really never lit up until we got to the running backs. And he talked about Junior Tomalatossi, and he lit up then. But he really lit up when he talked about Keith Byers. He said, now there's an NFL back. We got something there.
3rd and 5, Eagles. Crowd is getting boisterous now with the Redskins back on top. Blitz is coming. Jaworski picked off. Darrell Green.
That's the thing I was saying earlier about Darrell Green. If he's close, you want to leave him alone because he's so quick and he can move to get a jump on a ball so much that you don't want to mess with him. I think that was one of the things where he goes a couple of times. He goes too much on a Darrell Green. Darrell Green's right there, doesn't look into the backfield, just watches Mike Quick all the way and gets the jump.
And the Redskins again in great shape at the 27-yard line with a 3-point lead and 8 minutes to go in the half. Schrader down low. Gary Clark There's Darrell Green. We saw tape of him getting burned in preseason by Atlanta, and he told you something about writing a note to himself.
Well, he looked in the backfield, and he went for the play fake, and his man beat him. He said, I just wrote that on a note. On man coverage, don't look into the backfield. He said, I'm not going to do it against Quick tomorrow. And we just saw there, he watched Mike Quick all the way.
Turnovers now 2-1, as you saw. It'll be 2nd down and 5 from the 22. Schrader, Didier, overthrown. And they had him open. And Schrader knows it. We are live at RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. The Redskins and the Eagles. I'm Vern Lundquist along with John Madden. The Redskins took a 3-0 lead in the first quarter. Then the Eagles came 80 yards in 8 plays. A touchdown toss from Jaworski to Ron Johnson gave them a 7-3 lead. But on a 2nd down and 40 in the second quarter, Randall Cunningham tried a quick kick. Hit Ron Baker in the backside. The Redskins took over and went 26 yards in 2 plays, and Calvin Bryant got his first touchdown as a pro in the NFL to put the Redskins on top. That's where we sit with a 3rd down and 5, and Bryant back in the lineup, lined up to the right side. Stays in the block, into the flat, it's Art Monk. He's got to beat 3 men, and he whips 2 of them. But it'll be 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line.
That looked like some kind of basketball play. You know, Monk came in, and then they had a collision right here. Now watch, here's Monk. He comes in, and they meet right here. The defenders go off with the receiver that goes deep, and Monk is free here. Now watch him. He comes in motion here. Watch, right there, there's a collision. The defenders run off with the deep guy, and here's Monk wide open all by himself. That's the way I like it.
Take a look at this line play by the Hogs as well.
I'll tell you, when they're playing well, they're as impressive, that offensive line, as any offensive line of football.
Evan Cooper, who made the tackle, is the injured player for Philadelphia. We'll check on his status, but first we'll take this time out. 1 to go in the first half. Evan Cooper helped off the field. We'll get a status report. Now the Redskins have a 1st and goal from the 3 with backs in the eye. George Rogers, close.
This is what the Redskins call their jumbo formation. The fullback is their normal tight end, Don Warren, number 85. He gets in the backfield, see 85 here, and he leads George Rogers. Watch him, he's going to lead him right to the left. Rogers just gets right in behind Donnie Warren, and then Rogers just comes right in behind that big push.
That is only the 7th Redskin run of the first half. 7 times on the ground. I would imagine they'll keep it there now. Same play. And a good defensive effort by the Eagles denies Rogers the end zone. Wes Hopkins, number 48, a part of it.
Well, I'll tell you, if they miss John Riggins anywhere, it's in this area. John Riggins over the years helped the Redskins on short yardage and goal line more than anything else. And I tell you, it's just not the same. I mean, the whole team would get a lift when number 44 was back there. And there wasn't much blocking there by the Redskins, and it was excellent defense by the Eagles.
3rd and goal from the 1. 10-7. Redskins lead. Same play. No, play fake. Schrader celebrates at the 6 and strolls in for 6. Did he know or did he know?
Well, that's the time. If that doesn't work, go to the fake. They'd gone to the left 2 times, and then they just faked that same play, and Schrader kept the ball.
Is that the kind of a play where he doesn't tell anybody he's going to do that?
That's a possibility. But I would think with a young quarterback like Schrader, someone told him to call that.
Mosley. Buddy Ryan, a little distressed. A 27-yard drive in 6 plays, and the Redskins now lead 17-7 with 5:39 to go. Redskins Redskins lead now 17-7 after that rollout by Jay Schrader. Next week, the Philadelphia Eagles travel back to Chicago, where Buddy Ryan served a year ago as Mike Ditka's defensive coordinator. Jim McMahon and Walter Payton, of course, are back. So is the refrigerator for the second year. And that formerly awesome Chicago defense, will they be the same? Well, Ron Jaworski and his teammates will find out, as this much ballyhooed game will feature Keith Byers of the Eagles and Reggie White of the Philadelphia defensive unit. They go into Chicago next week. The schedule makers have not been kind to Philadelphia.
Well, they haven't. You know, and Buddy Ryan says, well, you know, it's no big deal. He said they're the Super Bowl champions. We're just a little 7-9 team. He said the pressure's all on Ditka.
And then he said,
him up.
And then he said, and we will give him a little pressure. Buddy Ryan didn't say it quite like that, but this is a family hour.
Well, you know, the other thing that Mike Ditka said, he said, you know, in a game like this, he said, what the teams were and their records were really don't count, because it's one of those rivalry games. As you know, in a rivalry game, anything can happen.
Here's the Redskin kickoff. Dropped and picked up by Charles Crawford. And the Eagles will start with poor field position. Let's watch again that Schrader touchdown.
Well, here we see Donnie Warren here, George Rogers here. They fake in this way, and then Schrader fakes to him and comes out. The guy that has the containment out here is Wes Hopkins. He goes in and looks in here, and Schrader runs right around it. Well, watch the outside guy, Hopkins. When he sees both backs go that way, he comes right down the line. He has yet to see Schrader. Ooh, give a Spiker Rooney.
Eagles have the ball, but they're way back at their own 12-yard line. And the Redskins have been on a roll for much of the second quarter. Byers out near the 15. High score 17-7 on this first Sunday of the NFL season. Detroit leads Minnesota now 7-3 in the second quarter. Cleveland has scored to narrow the margin to 21-14, and Houston leading Green Bay 14-3 at the half. Atlanta 11 points over New Orleans in the second quarter. For the Eagles, Junior Toddle-Latossi is back in the lineup with Mike Waters for the 37. They split behind Jaworski. Second down and 8. Audible. Quick screen. Leonard Mitchell is out to try and supply the block to Toddle-Latossi. John, he's an interesting young man of Samoan ancestry out of California. He didn't think that he was going to be drafted.
No, in fact, the day of the draft, he was out with his girlfriend. He wasn't even paying any attention to the draft, and he got back that night, and they said, you were drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles. And he said then he was just thinking and hoped to go back to camp and impress someone and maybe make the team, and he ends up on opening day as the starter.
Our congratulations to Martina Navratilova, who has won the U.S. Open women's singles tennis title. 6-3, 6-2 over Sukova. Highlights at halftime. First and 10 from the 22. Jaworski looks deep into triple coverage, and there's a battle at the 50 involving a couple of Redskins who collided. There's a flag down. Tripping call?
A tripping, you know, and it could be against Tom Gillespie or Ken Reeves again on that left side. They're having some problems with penalties.
Number 77 offense, tripping. 10-yard penalty, will replay the down.
Poor old Gillespie, that gives him, what, about 40 yards of penalties in the last 10 minutes.
Yep.
You know, I think he's having a little trouble over there with Dexter Manley. And he's doing everything he can. I mean, he's, you know, blocking him, holding him, tripping him, grabbing him.
Which in the middle of the season wouldn't be a surprise, but this guy hasn't played all summer.
Well, Dexter knows it too, so he's clapping. He says, look, that's what they have to do to block me.
I deserve the raise. First and 20. Draw play. Mike Waters. Need to draw another one. Well, at the start of this game, a surprise for those of you who have followed Philadelphia for years. The starters were Junior Toddle-Latossi, a 10th round draft choice, and Mike Waters. And take a look at the men they replaced. Haddix, Keith Byers, Ernest Jackson, who was acquired in a trade last year, and Charles Crawford.
Ernest Jackson had gained over 1,000 yards a few years, been a Pro Bowl back. They have 2 #1 draft choices and a Pro Bowl player on the bench.
And junior Todd Latossi and Mike Waters in the backfield. Second down and 22 from the 11. Jaworski, he was being pressured and flipped it out to Mike Waters, incomplete. Dexter Manley was giving Gillespie a lesson again.
You know, sometimes if Dexter Manley comes in and you're better in your first game, you know, you don't have the hitting condition, but you have fresh legs. You haven't gone through that training camp. You can put the pressure on. It'll be interesting to see how Dexter does next week and the week after that and the week after that. And I'm sure he'll get upset that I said that.
Randall Cunningham has got to be thinking about now, hey, I like this idea when you drew it up last week, but 3rd and 21 from the 11?
Yeah, coming out on the 10-yard line.
Right. Not so sure about all this. However, that'll bring up a 4th down as he is out of bounds at the 24-yard line. He's going to have a very impressive average. But on the ground, but it's only worked for a first down once.
Well, you know what it's going to do to those defenses? It's going to make those outside guys stay outside. Because he did that then, and he's saying right now, I started back, the end went inside, there was no one out there to the right, so I took off. And his quarterback coach here is Doug Scoville, who's probably telling him, yeah, but sometimes after you get outside that, look to see if you have a receiver downfield.
Darrell Green has one big punt return and an interception already today, and John Telchik is on to kick. This time David Little's snap is a good one, but the kick is not. Green lets it bounce and grabs it for 30. Out to the 47-yard line. Tackle made by Alonzo Johnson, number 54.
You know, you need Darrell Greens on your team. I mean, guys that can give you big plays, give you life, a bright-eyed guy. You know, I mean, he's always happy, always has a little, you know, bounce in his walk. His wife just had a baby a month or so ago. Is happy about that, happy about playing, happy about opening day. You need some happy guys around.
Do you have a lot of those guys at Oakland?
Yeah, because then that mixed with the sour. You mix your happy with your sour, and you get just kind of, you know, good team.
Sounds like a Chinese football team. Sweet and sour. Schrader lets it fly. Incomplete. Intended for Monk at the 20. Boy, these teams have gone to the air today.
You know, of course, if the 49ers were playing the Chargers, you would expect that. But when you get the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Redskins, you think more of two teams that are going to run at each other. In fact, both teams, when we talked to them yesterday, thought that there'd be a lot of running.
Well, we've got 3:15 to go in the first half, John, and we've got 36 passes between the two already. A 17-7 ball game. Redskins lead. They have a 2nd and 10. There's the graphic so far. That was intended for Gary Clark. It's incomplete. And Roynell Young was defended.
You know, one of the new guys on here is R.C. Thielman, and we see him blocking there on Ken Clark. Thielman is one of the good players. He was a Pro Bowl player for the Atlanta Falcons. And, you know, you add him to that lineup of Jacoby and Grimm and Jeff Fontes, who have all been 3 Pro Bowl players. You add a 4th one, this can be one of the best offensive lines in the league, if not the best.
3rd and 10 with 3:11 to go in the half. Only a 4-man rush. Passes out and caught, but it'll be short of the first down.
Well, we may get one of those officials things on this one. To see, take a look at that. Did he have both feet in bounds? He did, I think. Gary Clark made a nice play. You know, it looks like he could have made the first down there. He should see it. Watch Clark here. First, he has one. He has both feet in, but he just couldn't get up over that first down marker.
He looked at the first down marker. I think may have had to come back
and
with the
then
ball.
cut it short, though.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, had he taken it up another couple yards, he would have had a first down.
Steve Cox on the kick, and Evan Cooper, who was shaken up a series or so ago, is back in, and he'll return the kick. He waits at the 10. Cooper will let it go, and it's going to be a touchback. So the Eagles will get it back with 2:55 to go in the first half, trailing 17-7. Next week, Buddy Ryan and his team go back to Chicago to take on Mike Ditka and the Bears. That begins with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time, as the Eagles will precede the 49ers and the Rams. That game, the second part of our CBS doubleheader. John and Pat will be out on the West Coast next week. Taking the train out tonight, right?
Yep, I leave tonight, and I'll get there in a few days.
Wave to me when you come through Dallas.
Just bring food.
First and 10. Jaworski hands it off. Junior Tossing. Well, that 9.8 average he had in preseason is going to be reduced considerably today.
Well, you're not going to have a 9.8 average if you run right at Dave Butts. If there's anything you probably can't do against the Redskin defense is run over your right guard. I mean, that's a losing deal. When you take a guy like this that has a helmet like that and feet like that and a body size like that, you're just not going to run at him. Maybe you can run around him, beside him, inside him, outside, but you can't run at Dave Butts.
Second and 10. Toddler-Tossing has 6 yards on 5 carries. Jaworski across the middle to Mike Waters. And he is finally caught and dropped at the 38-yard line. That's another Eagle first down, and probably will be the final play before the 2-minute warning. It will, as Jaws heads to the sidelines. We are back at RFK Stadium in Washington. Vern Lundquist and John Madden. Washington leading 17-7. Both teams have 3 timeouts left, and the Eagles working with a first down at their own 37, 38-yard line. Coming up at halftime, Brandon Irver joined by the newest NFL Today contributor, Will McDonough, with scores and highlights from around the league, and a look ahead at the men's final between Ivan Lendl and Miloslav Mechir. That's coming up at halftime, 2 minutes away. Jaworski, pretty good protection, pretty good catch. Dave Little to the 49 of the Redskins.
Hey, Jaworski had to zip that in there because that was good underneath coverage or linebacker coverage by the Redskins. He just found a little hole in there and went zip right in between 3 linebackers.
There's Doug Williams, another USFL product, of course drafted by Tampa Bay and played in the league 5 years down there. But Joe Gibbs was his offensive coordinator, and when the players became available, he said, I want that man.
And he's one that, gives Joe a lot of confidence. He said, Jay Schrader's going to be our starting quarterback, but he said, I wanted a veteran behind Schrader. And he said, and then being able to get Doug Williams, give us that guy. So he said he feels real comfortable at the quarterback position. He said there's not a quarterback controversy. Schrader is the starter. Williams, of course, would be there in case anything happens to Schrader.
And on the Philadelphia side, Jaworski had to earn his play in preseason. Now the Eagles have a first down at the Redskins 49, trailing by 10 with 1:52 to go in the half and 2 timeouts left. Manley was at Jaworski, and the pass is incomplete. Manley did a little spin move on Gillespie and was right in Jaworski's face.
And I think that's the thing that made this a deal, because here we see Manley here. He's going to do a spinner, and then come off. And because he hit Jaworski, that may be just enough. You see the spinner, the inside spinner? Now he comes straight up the middle, hits Jaworski just as he throws it. That takes enough off the ball that there was no chance for a completion.
Average yards on first down, 1.8 for the Eagles. They have a second down and 10. And Washington has been extraordinarily successful. 1:47 to go in the half. Left side, overthrow, Bill Smith at the 35-yard line. And another flag down in the offensive backfield.
Well, at least this one doesn't look like it's on Gillespie.
On number 72 defense. A shot to the head of the quarterback and unsportsmanlike conduct. 30 yards.
Oh, boy. Gillespie and Manley are even.
Gillespie had 40 yards yards, I think, so Manley got it up on one play. He gets hit there for a penalty for hitting Jaworski in the face with his right hand. The right blow to the head, that's 15 yards. Now after that, he did something else and got another 15. Totaling 30, and they take him out of the game, and he's still banned.
I'm going to guess that what he did after that was talk about it. That's a guess.
Dexter has been known to talk about things.
That's why I think I'm on safe ground. Let's take a look.
See it. That's Gene Barth, the referee, and he's walking right into him. Yeah, that's what it is. He's going nose to nose, toe to toe.
That's face mask to nose.
Oh.
And that's a 30-yard penalty, so Gillespie is still plus 10. At the 19-yard line. Across the middle. Bill Smith tries to stem, does, inside the 10 and down at the 8 with a minute 34 to go and a half.
I know one of the things that Joe Gibbs is going to be talking about on Monday, these players, is those unnecessary penalties that have given the Eagles big opportunities. See what Smith does here, he comes underneath. They drive the defense deep, then he delays on the outside and comes under all the coverage.
Marcus Koch, number 74, the second-round draft choice from Boise State, has replaced Manley. There's Matt Cavanaugh, with Buddy Ryan standing right behind him. What a big boost, and Manley is back in now.
Well, they probably just took him out for one down just to calm him down. Then he says, I'm okay, and just go in and play again.
Just short of the first down.
Of course, when you're down in here, with 1 minute 34 seconds, I don't think that the time is of the essence now. I mean, they have plenty of time to go to work. I think you would not want a first down here because now you have a chance to still get a first down. I think being down 17-7, the Eagles can get a touchdown here and go in just down 17-14. They'll feel real good about that.
And what a lift, John. They haven't really been a factor at all in the second quarter.
And then they got that lift by the 30 yards of penalty.
So the Philadelphia Eagles have the ball at the 9-yard line.
And I'll tell you, the guy that will be the most fired up on that Redskin defense is the guy that gave up the 30, Dexter Manley.
And Gillespie's got to be going on.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
How about him? He got to block him. He's not even going to get... Oh, yeah, he did get the stand.
Second and inches. Manley and Gillespie, lower part of the screen. That pass is caught at the 5. It'll be first down as Mike Quick makes the grab. And Vernon Dean and Quick get into a wrestling match.
Well, this is the area that neither team can afford a penalty.
Somebody's going to get one.
I don't know if that just fell out of the official's pocket or if he threw it out.
Here's Gene Barth.
We got offsetting personal fouls after the ball became dead. A downtown.
There are the offsetting fouls.
Yeah, that's that dumb penalty they got. That they get down there and they do something and they penalize them both. All you're doing is saying it's okay because nothing's going to happen.
And obviously what they finally saw was the hammerlock of Mike Quick on Vernon Dean.
But I think the thing they have to do is the guy that starts it, they have to call and give the 15-yarder on him.
First and goal Eagles from the 4 with 1:24 to go as the clouds hover overhead. Philadelphia with a big break on a 30-yard penalty infraction against Dexter Manley. And now they worked it down to the 4.
They really haven't had a running game yet today, and this is where you need the running game.
And Spagnola is in. And Eagles first and goal out of timeouts, trailing 17-7. Dave Little, the motion man. Give up the middle for a couple. Thought to keep running. Tossie got the handoff.
See, now they're making a substitution. They're taking those extra 2 tight ends out, going to regular formation. But having to call that last time out and burn that, I think is going to upset them down here somewhere.
We're under a minute now, 55 seconds to go in the first half. Second down and goal from the 3.
This probably has to be a passing play.
Wide receivers left and right. Yes, sir. Jaws pumps, fires deep, left side, overthrown. Intended for the tight end, Dave Little. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 3. And Jaworski again was on the ground.
Yeah, that was Charles Mann that got him that time. That's the first time we've really heard from Mann, because he's going against Leonard Mitchell. And Mitchell has turned in to be one of the good tackles in this league, number 74. Now, this has to be a passing down. You know, 3rd and 3 on the goal line is like long yardage.
39 seconds to go in the half. The Eagles trail by 10. Little the motion man. Jaws looks left, drills it. Caught. If it stands, it's a touchdown to Tonalatosi. There's a flag down.
The way the players react, it's against the Redskins.
Illegal use of the hands, 72 defense, penalty refused, touchdown.
Junior Tonalatosi. That was a nice catch, John.
Well, and it was he ran the pattern right to the goal line. And of course that got Dexter Manley about even with Gillespie. Manley had about 35 yards of penalties on that play. But I tell you, Tonalatosi did the right thing. He went right. He knew where the goal line was. He got inside and stayed there, and when you catch the ball, it's a touchdown.
Contact before the snap. Paul McFadden on to try the extra point.
You know, if Manley and Gillespie get any more penalties, they're going to throw them in jail. I mean, I've never seen two guys like that. Those officials are watching those two guys.
And as a result, so are we. I can't get my eyes off of them. Here's Barnes.
Offside, the left side of the defensive line will penalize on the kickoff.
Watch Dexter Manley and Tom Gillespie on that touchdown toss. Left-hand side.
But here it is. Yeah, he's on the left-hand side of the screen. And that's just for a hitting in the head.
Extra point by Paul McFadden is good. And because of 30 yards in large part, 30 yards in penalties against Dexter Manley, the Eagles get right back in the thick of it.
Welcome back to New York, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross and the newest member of the NFL today, Will McDonough. Will, you've been working on a story tomorrow night, the Monday Nighter, the Dallas Cowboys and the Giants. What about Everson Walls for the Cowboys and Joe Morris for the Giants? Will they play?
Well, 2 different phone calls this morning, Brent. I called Bill Parcells of the Giants. Joe Morris said last week, I don't know if I'm going to play or not. Had a contract problem. Parcells says he practiced this morning and was going to be on the plane. But when I called Dallas and got text from him out of bed, he said negotiations last night with Walls broke off. He doesn't think he's going to play Monday night, and if he doesn't play, he'll suspend him for 4 weeks.
All right, Will and Irv, let's take everybody to the scoreboard. We've got a lot of action going on around the league right now. Detroit up on Minnesota. It is 7-3. Irv, of course, they got a brand new coach, Jerry Burns, and his defense cannot stop James Jones, who set him for 109 yards.
But James Jones is a real workhorse. He's a big, powerful back who has the ability to go inside or outside. Here he rambles off tackle for a 39-yarder.
Look at the patience in Minneapolis. Can you believe that? You'd think you were in Philadelphia trying to win. James Jones takes the handoff, batters in for a 2-yard touchdown. 7-3 Lions with the lead there. Chicago and Cleveland. You won't believe it. Jim McMahon out of the shotgun. Ball rolls in the end zone. They go to the instant replay official. He said the Browns had possession. 7-0 Browns. They're thinking upset. Dennis Gentry goes 91 yards. Touchdown. Bears scored 21 points. Now they lead 24-14, and they've gone to the half of that game in Soldier Field. Houston over Green Bay. The Oilers are going to be one of the more improved teams in the league. Write it down. 17-3. Moon to Woolfolk, 29 yards for one of the touchdowns in that game. Atlanta over New Orleans. The Falcons have to be improved, or Dan Henning will be out. Cliff Austin scored from 1 yard out. Oh, there's a great defense. They intercepted Morgana.
I don't know if the ball player's like that or not, though, huh?
Dave Archer here throwing to Charlie Brown, the one-time Redskin wide receiver. 17 yards for the score. And Jim Morris said, we've got to do better than that. Cliff Austin taking the handoff over the top for the touchdown, and Atlanta leading Mora and the Saints 14-3 the score there. The Rams in St. Louis, Eric Dickerson having a big afternoon. He scored the touchdown. They botched the extra point. Gene Stallings, the new man, and Neil Lomax was able to play today.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that because Neil has pretty bad ankles. He had some severe ankle injuries, but played anyway. Here's a fumble. The Rams recover and ramble outfield. Sean Miller picked it up for a 27-yard gain for the L.A.
John Robinson, though, watched the drive stall right there. And then finally it was Steve Bartkowski out of the shotgun.
The Rams are high this year because they think this guy, number 10, Steve Bartkowski, gives them the ability to get deep. Of course, Tony Hunter, if he reaches his full potential, they think could be the best tight end in football.
All right, Dickerson carried 20 times for 84 yards in that first half. It is 6-3, the Rams with the lead. San Francisco and Tampa Bay, they have gone to the second half.
Down to it. STP adds extra lubrication to reduce engine wear in whatever you drive. STP is the racer's edge.
What's the German band doing in the parking lot?
It's Beckley's idea of an Oktoberfest.
But this is September.
I know. It's H.H. Greg's Septemberfest sale.
Oh, that's pure genius.
The band was too busy in October.
Well, there's no reason for waiting till October when you can save $400 right now at H.H. Gregg on a Magnavox camcorder with infrared autofocus for only $999. A great price on quality Magnavox.
This Gregg Septemberfest going to be an annual event?
Oh, sure. Once these things get started, you can't stop them.
Wish TV salutes Boone County.
In Lebanon, you can see the magnificent county courthouse, supported by the largest limestone columns in the world. Also in Lebanon is the historical Her Cabin and a homemade candy store that ships chocolates all over the world. In Thorntown is the Heritage Museum, dedicated to local Indian lore. And you won't want to miss experiencing the stylish little shops of Zionsville.
Wish TV is proud to serve Boone County, one of Indiana's own.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller Lite. Miller made the American way since 1855. United Airlines, you're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies. And by STP Corporation, on the world's racetracks, on the world's roads, STP, your car care company. We are back at RFK Stadium in Washington, getting ready for the start of the second half. First half took a while, and in the halftime they introduced some 75 former Redskins, going all the way back to 1937, the first year of this franchise's operation. Buddy Ryan, now in his first year as an NFL head coach. His team trails 20-14, and Dexter Manley, who was a very important and significant part of the first half. Joe Gibbs, when this team has led at halftime, his teams have won 42 games and lost only 2. That's a fairly impressive stat.
Yeah, but he knows that's not going to help him now. And there's another stat like that they have every time they start off with the lead. If they score first, they win a lot of games. But that only looks good and helps you after the game's over. I'm sure that Joe Gibbs isn't saying, wow, it's 42-2 or whatever. Look at this. When they score first, which they also did today, then they're 29-2. But when
here's the kick. Keith Griffin, number 35. Oh, what a pop right when the whistle sounded, and there comes a flag. Steve Hamilton came flying, number 64, and they're going to flag him, I think.
Well, they better not, because that's about, I mean, I don't know what a guy's supposed to do. He picked off a guy. I don't know what he does wrong, but watch Hamilton come right here. I mean, he hit him square right in the front.
Personal foul, late hit, number 64, after the ball was dead, half the distance to the goal line.
Now, you can't tell when the whistle blows. That's one thing, but I know that it wasn't a clip or any hit from behind or anything, because he hit him right square in the front.
Albert Fowles is the injured player, and he was the recipient of the hit by Steve Hamilton. Yeah, he was airborne, I think, John, when the whistle blew. There's no way he could stop it.
You know, and that's what, you know, and Albert Fowles could be running down there, hear the whistle, pull up and stop, and then he gets this guy, you know, coming flying through the air. That's Fowles. He's number 29. He comes in there. He does pull up and stop. And then right there, in fact, he put both hands up to stop. And Hamilton tattooed him right between the 2 and the 9.
And what you cannot hear, of course, is when that whistle blows on the replay. There's Fowles up and walking off by himself.
You did see Fowles did pull up. In fact, as he pulled up, he even raised both hands.
So we have a penalty to kick off this second half. Chicago leading now by 3 and Detroit by 7. Houston over Green Bay. They've extended their lead to 21. First and 10, Jay Schrader has gone the distance at quarterback for the Redskins, who lead it 20-14. George Rogers, the defense. They're in that jumbo formation, and they pop a big one out near the 19-yard line. Byron Darby, 94, and Wes Hopkins, 48, combined for the tackle. That field goal, by the way, of Steve Cox was the longest in Redskin history, in the 50-year history of the franchise. Just before halftime, 55 yards.
Or Steve Cox is a regular punter, and Mosley is the field goal kicker, but Cox has done both, and they've used him before in the long field goal. I mean, that's part of the Redskins' plan.
Second down and 1. Don Warren still at fullback in this formation. Rogers, first down plus, he plunges to the 25-yard line. Ken Clark, number 71, made the tackle.
This is an interesting formation where they have Don Warren, who's normally the tight end, in the backfield as the fullback to lead for Rogers. Then they have Clint Didier, who's usually the other tight end. He's out here as a wide receiver. So they really have 3 wide receivers and 2 backs in the backfield. See, here's Didier down here in the bottom.
And they stay in that jumbo. First down and 10 from the 25. Didier to the 29-yard line. That was a first down play that gained about 4 yards. But they have really been outstanding on first downs throughout the afternoon. Look at this.
Well, you know, and that's a big thing. I mean, that's a very important stat because it's easy to operate in short yardage situations. And if you're 7.2, then that means you're around 2nd and 2 or 2nd and 3. That's a lot easier than operating in 2nd and 8 and 9 situations.
Second down and 6 right now with 12:50 to go, third quarter. And they stay in that jumbo formation again. Blitz is running. Here comes the safety blitz. Schrader gets rid of it left side and over the wrong shoulder for Art Monk.
The Redskins did a good job of picking up that safety blitz. It was the right guard, R.C. Thielman. The safety sneaked up in there, and Thielman picked him up. Let's see if we can see it here. He's going to come right into the middle of the screen, right there. And you see the right guard, Thielman, not only picked him up, he grabbed him with the right hand and say, I got this guy. And then Schrader was able to get rid of the ball.
Third down and 6. Kelvin Bryant back in the lineup. He has scored a touchdown today on third down conversions. The Redskins hitting 33 1/3%. Prevent defense in for the Eagles. Bernard Wilson and Albert Fowles. Fowles is up on the line, number 29. He's coming. Schrader, left side, makes the catch, first down. Gary Clark, number 84, picks it off in front of Roynell Young.
Schrader drilled that ball. That looked like Cox's kick. I mean, that thing came out of there. You see Clark, he's working on Roynell Young out there. He just makes him out. This time he gets in front of the first down marker, so he has an opportunity to work back.
Meanwhile, pretty good luck.
Yeah, they had good pass protection on this. But watch Schrader just strip and step and drill that thing. Boy, is he a strong-arm guy.
And Greg Brown got there right after the pass had been delivered. First down and 10. Rogers. That will decrease that first down average. He gets just a couple. Hopkins comes flying in there. Gary Cobb, number 50. Clark. Reichenbach.
You know, the Redskins waited for the start of the third quarter to use that formation. And, you know, it's their form of a two-back thing with Donnie Warren in there as a fullback. And I don't think the Redskins adjusted to it until that last play. I think they found, oh, this is what they're doing when they're in that. It's a run offense, I see.
Second down and 8. 20-14. Redskins lead. We've got 11:20 to go, third quarter. left side. Schrader fires it for Gary Clark. He'll be caught short of the first down at the 47-yard line. Andre Waters and Mike Reichenbach made the catch. And for Clark, that's 5 catches for 48 yards today. He had a big season a year ago as a free agent with 72 catches for the year.
That's one thing the Redskins have. They have 2 good starting wide receivers, Art Monk and Gary Clark, but very little depth.
3rd and 2. 20-14. Washington leads it. 3rd and 1 officially from the 47. Now Warren goes to the left side, just off the line of scrimmage. Rodgers breaks it open again. First down at the 45.
Had a good block that time from Clint Didier. He was in motion, the motion man, and he ended up being the lead blocker for George Rodgers. Watch him here. He starts on the right side. Now he's going to go across, and he's going to kick out the end man on the line of scrimmage. See right there, that block? And then Rodgers came right inside that block and got the first down.
11 carries for Rodgers for 78 yards. He had a big one of 42 in the first half. Schrader on the half roll. That's incomplete. Gary Clark, number 84, the intended receiver.
Well, the fans didn't boo. Jay Schrader was saying, you know, I've thrown some short hops, and the fans boo those. And he said, I'll probably throw some short hops again, and they'll probably boo again. Well, that time he threw a short hop, and they didn't boo. Coming a long way.
That's it. Improvement every week. I think I mentioned that Clark was a free agent. He was actually acquired in the supplemental draft, 84, and played in the USFL, Gary Clark. 2nd down and 10 now, 9:39 to go 3rd quarter. Bryant is back in. Schrader across the middle behind the intended receiver, Kelvin Bryant.
You know, one thing that Jay Schrader has, he's a 6'4". He's a big guy, but he's strong and he's pretty mobile. You see, he makes a little pump there, a little fake, can scramble out there, and he can take those big hits that a quarterback gets. You know, these quarterbacks, you don't see it all the time, but they get beaten around pretty good.
What did he say? You asked him if there were any plays that weren't in the lineup this year, the offensive team?
Yeah, there was the play they called 60 throwback. That was the one that Joe Theismann broke his leg on. He said the play hasn't been called or even mentioned since that night.
3rd down and 10. Schrader. That catch is made at the 37-yard line by Art Monk with Andre Waters draped on his back. That should be the first down.
Andre Waters had about as good a coverage as you can get.
Redskins have been dynamite under Joe Gibbs in the second half of the season. Buddy Ryan, of course, hoping that his team can get off to a quick start. But for the Washington team, September has not been kind.
I think this is going to be short because they've already sent in their short yardage offense. They know it's short. Redskins. Look, they got a little kink net. Yeah, that's short. They play an offensive lineman, Riley McKenzie, Reggie McKenzie's twin brother, as a tight end in this formation. He's a backup center and guard. So he becomes the left tight end, number 63. It's probably the side they'll run to.
Fourth and about a half a foot. 20-14, Washington leads. 8:58 to go, 3rd quarter.
I'm sure that Rodgers will follow Warren.
Quarterback keeper.
Yeah, this is the interest. Here's where you get to mark. Where do they put the ball? An official comes running in from the sideline. Does he put his right foot down or his left foot? Oh, now they're going to bring in the chain. This is how they mark this. I have no idea. Jay Schrader took a quarterback sneak. How they decide where that ball is, where that ball's marked. Looks like a first down from here, though.
Check your eyes now.
I looked at a lot of those things
bet you
over
have.
my lifetime. When it's fourth down, that's a big, big play. Big, big stretch.
Here comes the stretch. Yep. Elsewhere in the National Football League today, Chicago now leading by 10 over Cleveland in the third quarter. Detroit still holds on by 7 over Minnesota in the fourth. And Atlanta leads New Orleans now by 18 points. First and 10, Washington, 8:20 to go, third quarter. They have moved this opening kickoff. Schrader, dead ear. 2 inches too far.
You know, that's the second time they had that play. They really get Didier out here isolated on their rookie linebacker, Alonzo Johnson, number 54. You see it, he's out here wide. He has to cover man-to-man against Didier. He really does a pretty good job. But had that throw been just a half-inch shorter, that could have been a touchdown.
Eagles, as we said, have a tough start. They play here to open the season. Next week, they're on the road at Chicago as Buddy Ryan goes back to meet the media in Chicago, or they come to meet him. You'll see that game beginning at 12:30 with the NFL today, and then the 49ers and the Rams, the second half of our CBS doubleheader. Second and 10. Kelvin Bryant in the lineup. Monk is the motion man. Schrader. Sidearm toss to Gary Clark, incomplete at the 35. Oh, he put a little mustard on that, too.
Oh, he had to put mustard on it because he was running out of room and out of sideline, and he had pretty good coverage against it. I think he was really trying to hit Kelvin Bryant over there on that side, and Bryant was covered, so he had to come back, and Clark was his second receiver. I wouldn't be surprised if right here, if they tried to go deep again to Bryant, because this is about the same position that they did earlier, and they got the big play.
On third down conversions, Redskins are 5 of 11. Schrader is 15 of 31. They've already chewed 7 minutes off the clock in this drive. And this is the 15th play. Flags are down. Ball is caught on the deflection. Didier for a touchdown if it stands. Through the flag, so I don't think Buddy Ryan's going to like this.
Holding, number 50 defense, penalty refused, touchdown.
Watch the deflection off one offensive player into another. You know, a couple years ago, that was an illegal play. But now they changed the rules, and that's legal. So, of course, the touchdown holds up.
If you want to go way back, remember the Blunder Bowl, Super Bowl V?
I remember that, and I also remember the Immaculate Reception in Pittsburgh.
I wasn't going to bring up old sad memories for you.
I'll never forget that one.
Mosley. Years ago, this would not have been a completed pass.
You know, it almost looked like it was a planned play. Now, you may take credit for it, but no one can take credit for this one. Clark's not going to. Didier says, look what I found.
Tinkers to Evers, they took a chance. Touchdown. 5 and 15 plays, and they ate up half the third quarter as Clint Didier gets the deflection from Gary Clark and 6 points. 7:09 on the clock. 90 yards in 15 plays, and the touchdown came on a 3rd and 10. And now Steve Cox is getting ready to kick off the Redskins, and the Eagles down by 13 for the first time today will touch it in the second half offensively for the first time. Another touchback.
You know, talking about that drive, Vern, I think that's where a good coach comes in and a good staff, and that's why I think Joe Gibbs is one of the good ones. That you take, you know, they went in there at halftime, and you don't give big speeches and get all emotional and stuff. That's when you do your work. This is what we did in the first half. This is what they did. This is what we're going to do. And when you see something like that drive that the Redskins just had, you know that the Redskins coaching staff did their job at halftime.
Now we'll see what Buddy Ryan had to talk about as Ron Jaworski brings his troops up. Split backs. Tom Latossi comes left. Spins out of one tackle into two more. And it's a gain of 2. Now let's go to New York and Brent Musburger for this National Football League update.
Well, Vernon John, Eric Dickerson is having a big afternoon for the Rams. He's now carried 27 times, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Rams are up on the Cardinals, 13-3. Let's go back to Vernon John.
That'll be the first of many.
Someone's going to say that the Rams run Dickerson too much. Why not? If you do anything else, you're dumb.
Second down and 7. Philadelphia trails 27-14. Junior Tom Latossi. His real first name is Taivale, T-A-I-V-A-L-E. And picked up the nickname Junior quite some time ago. Now here comes Randall Cunningham on 3rd down.
Yeah, that's really been what's killing the Eagles offensively all day, is not being able to run.
Their total coming into this drive was 44 yards rushing. Well, that's not a very good stat. 14-6. That's what he's had to gain on 3rd down each time he's played. There is no intentional grounding flag. There was plenty of pressure. Monty Coleman. I think Cunningham may say, I don't like this idea.
Well, you know, when you get 3rd and long, you know, if you do like 15 or 20% of picking up first downs, that's good. So, you know, it's not something you're supposed to pick it up all the time. So he's going in a tough situation where his chances of being successful aren't very good. So you can't let that bother your confidence. I mean, that's a tough deal. You don't like to call the plays. You don't like to run the plays in those situations.
He has thus far in the game converted 1 of those 3rd and longs. Now John Telchik to punt for the 4th time, and Darrell Green waits for it at the 35. That's a good kick. Green fingertip catch at the 24. And is popped 3 times. Last one was up high, and here's a scoop, another couple of flags. 52-yard kick and 12 on the return.
That looked like it was on Andre Waters, though, number 20 of the Eagles. I don't think it had to do with the hit. It was something that happens after the hit. Because right here, Green is level right there. I think that's Alonzo Johnson that hit him.
Philadelphia, 15 yards on 1st down.
Now, that was legal. But it was Andre Waters, number 20, that got the penalty. It was Alonzo Johnson that made the hit. See, now this is legal here. That's legal there. That is legal there. And the thing that's not legal is number 20.
Wherever.
Everyone has limited
Penalties have been accepted in the game, and here's the latest.
That was Andre Waters. We saw now the play. Everything was legal up to this point. The play's okay. Now watch number 20 right there go boom in the face mask. The left followed by a right, boom, followed by a yellow flag.
And a first down at the 50. 6:11 to go in 3rd quarter. George Rogers. That's a gain of a couple. Rogers has been by far the busiest man carrying the ball today. That's 12 for 79 yards for Rogers.
It's been tough going. You know, it's been tough going for the running game and the runners, and because both these teams, their defense, they're probably the strength of their defense is their run defense.
2nd down and 8. Now Kelvin Bryant replaces Rogers on the apparent passing down. Bryant in the left flat gets the pass. Tries to get a block from Grimm and does. And scoots down the sidelines with another first down inside the 35. Of course, he wore number 44, John, at North Carolina. Wanted to wear it here, but that was Riggins' number, and when he found out that some of his new teammates were going to be upset, he said, no, I'll take 24.
Well, you know, some of his new teammates, specifically, it was the Hawks, the offensive line, They said if anyone gets number 44, we're going to walk out for a day in protest. Of course, Joe Gibbs heard about it and said it could be a problem, but if you want it, I'll give it to you. Kelvin Bryant said, nope. He said, I'll wear anything. He said, give me 00. I don't want to cause any problems. I just want to play. They took number 24.
He does not look like Jim Otto. First and 10. There's Bryant carrying the ball. And Roynell Young mixing it up with Gary Clark for just a moment.
Now, Bryant is one of those guys who isn't a big guy, and you see him in street clothes. He doesn't look big, but he plays big. And when he runs here, look, he looks big. He looks strong. He looks quick. Yeah, but when you see him just standing around like in a lobby or something, he really doesn't. So I think we're seeing the type of things he's going to do for the Redskins. Catch a deep pass, the screen pass, and then counter running.
Second down and 1. Bryant stays in. Gets the handoff and comes right. Getting from behind, scoots out. And is knocked out of bounds with a first down inside the 20-yard line.
He'll like that play. That's the play when he learns to run it that they call counter trey. And Joe Jacoby and Russ Grimm lead on that play. So you get to follow those big all-pro guys. I think once he gets the feeling of this, see Grimm and Jacoby pulling there in front of him. Once he gets the timing and the feeling of that, he's going to love that play.
Gary Cobb finally helped knock him out of bounds with Wes Hopkins. Now Rogers back in. First down at 10 from the 16. Redskins back in control, leading 27-14. Schrader almost picked off at the 9-yard line by Mike Reichenbach, the one-time free agent from East Stroudsburg State. He's being asked to play Mike Singletary in this defense.
Buddy Ryan calls him Rockenback.
Rockenback, that's right.
And he says that he doesn't have the speed, but he has everything else. He said he makes up for it. He's smart, and he's strong, and he's good against the run. He tackles well. The only thing he lacks is speed.
Second down and 10. Redskins with 4:31 to go, third quarter. They operate from the 16. Rogers. Oh, it's Martin again. Kelvin Bryant, second touchdown.
I told you that was one he was going to start to like. That was that counter trey to the right. They took him out for a play and told him about it, and he followed big Joe Jacoby right up through the hole and into the end zone.
Try the extra point. The Redskins are pulling away now with 4:26 to go in the third quarter. With 5 seconds to go in the half, it was only a 3-point Washington lead. Now it's up to 20. Right now, the Eagles have the Redskins on their minds. They trail by 20, 34-14, 4:26 to go, third quarter. Steve Cox, who had that record-setting field goal just before the half of 55 yards, getting set to kick off. Well, the reunion crowd has got to love this. The 75 former Redskins who are here today. Charles Crawford and Junior Tarpalacossi are the two deep men. Crawford, again, touchback. Let's look at the touchdown run again by Kelvin Bryant, John.
Well, this is a play that Kelvin Bryant's going to love. It's a counter. He takes a little step, and then the guard and the tackle. This is Russ Grimm. He pulls and kicks out. Joe Jacoby pulls and leads, and Bryant comes right in behind him. He's going to learn to love this play because it gets things started that way. Then they come back. Now watch it. Now watch. There's Grimm. Boom. Kick out. Here's big Jacoby right there, and there's the hole to the end zone.
And as if things weren't bad enough already for Philadelphia, they just had an unnecessary roughness call. There is Kelvin Bryant. 2 touchdowns in his NFL debut. In the second half, Washington 142 yards to 5 for the Eagles. That's domination.
I've always felt that Joe Gibbs was one of the best coaches in this league and one of the best game day coaches. I think at halftime they really made some good adjustments.
Jaworski overthrows his intended receiver. Barry Wilbur, number 45, was the defensive back on that play. Elsewhere in the NFL today, it's still 31-21 Chicago in the fourth quarter, and the Rams lead by 16-3 now over St. Louis. 49ers have extended their lead over Tampa Bay 24-7. Matt Cavanaugh prowls the sidelines, acquired from the 49ers in the offseason. Once a second-round pick of New England. Michael Haddix, number 26, a former number 1 draft pick for the Eagles, makes his first appearance in the offensive backfield now, replacing Waters at fullback. 2nd and 10. Jaworski. That one's caught at the 21-yard line by Kenny Jackson, number 81, who has lost his starting job to Phil Smith this year.
About what Buddy Ryan said about Michael Haddix the first time he saw him. He said he looked like an overweight reject guard from the USFL.
He said about Leonard Mitchell, what, he's fat and overweight? And then he saw him block, and he said, no, he's just large.
He's large, yeah. He went from fat to large.
There's Haddix, who's lost a little weight since Ryan got on him. 1st and 10. Eagles trail by 20. Jaworski goes deep, overthrows the tight end, Dave Little. It's John Spagnola who had come in. Well, he's put on all those guys that he had once demoted are in the lineup now. Spagnola, Haddix. We haven't seen Ernest Jackson yet, but Jackson's the guy that Ryan really, he said there are only 3 things I don't like about him. He can't run, he can't block, he can't catch. I'd say you'd know your future's not
that was a tough
of the year.
That was Ernest Jackson who said that about it.
Yeah, not Kenny.
That's a tough thing. I'll tell you, I think it's probably all going to work if he wins.
That would be the key. Flag is down. Keith Byers is back in the lineup. And if the play stands, it'll be out to the 28-yard line, but we'll have to see.
I don't think that one's going to stand. I think that's going to be against the Eagles again, holding. I wouldn't be surprised if Gillespie again.
Not again.
On Dexter Manley. Well, it was in that area. It very well could be.
He is having the
offense 74, holding, 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Large Leonard Mitchell.
Oh, it's not bad. It's the other side. Those guys have had a tough time, those 2 tackles. Gillespie has the most of them.
I'll bet Gillespie was just cringing then if he's going to hear his name again.
I know, because it was thrown right in his area, but it was against the other guy. But I've had enough of those things.
2nd down and 20. 3:40 to go, 3rd quarter. 34-14, Washington leads. Here comes Manley. Nice catch down around the shoe tops out to the 15-yard line. Michael Haddix, but he's tackled immediately. Rich Malott, number 57, made the tackle.
So here's Manley and Gillespie going at it here. The intensity slowed down a little here in the 2nd half. I mean, they're still going pretty good, but not like they were in the first. Of course, you can't tell Jaworski that as he gets hit in the back by Dexter Manley.
Under pressure today, 2 sacks, 8 hurries, 6 knockdowns, a batted ball, and 1 interception. And once again, it's 3rd and 17. And here's poor Randall Cunningham. Darrell Grant, Marcus Cook, number 74. Steve Hamilton, number 64.
One of those adjustments I was talking about that the Redskins made at halftime is watch, when Cunningham comes in, now they keep their outside guys, they play out wide. You see, as he starts out this way, they have him contained the whole time. So he can't get outside, then he has to go back inside, and they just have him corralled there. In the first half, they weren't doing that. They were making moves towards him, and he could get outside him.
This has been an overwhelming Washington quarter, and now John Pelchik will punt from way back in the end zone. Gary Clark is the return man. That's a pretty good kick. 44. That's a pretty good return. .52-yard kick, 12 on the return. Tackle made by Alonzo Johnson. Redskins get it back after the season opening loss to Alabama. And the Huskies try and rebound from an unexpected offense. Your friends are back.
Yeah, those are
Huskies.
guys. You know, they look like Adrian Adonis. Those guys look like Adrian Adonis.
I don't know him or her. George Rogers down to the 40. Adrian Adonis?
Adrian Adonis is a him who looks like a her who wrestles.
Somehow I've missed that.
Oh, the Flower Shop, Hulk Hogan, all the guys. Mr. Wonderful. You don't watch that?
I got to start.
Oh, it's great.
First final of the season. Houston under Jerry Glanville gets off to a big start, 31-3. He knows what he's doing. Second down and 7. 34-14, 1:25 in the third quarter. Rogers inside the 40 near the 37-yard line.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think early in the season, Houston is going to be one of the big surprise teams. Whether the other people catch up with them or not, I don't know. But they were a lot better than just starting.
Well, Jerry Glanville had that Operation Head Start back in March and brought, 65 players in. They stayed there through training camp, so he put most of his offense and defense in back then. 3rd and 4. Kelvin Bryant back in the lineup. He has scored twice today, has rushed for 34 yards, and has caught 4 passes.
Someone will say tomorrow he's the biggest USFL impact player in the NFL.
Gary Clark can't make it. You think that headline might be there somewhere?
I'll guarantee you, yeah. They always make judgments right off the bat. And he's going to be the biggest. Impact is a new word that they like. And they're going to give it tomorrow. I know it. I know they'll give it to Kelvin Bryant.
Kelvin Bryant.
Yep.
Unanimous.
Yeah. Biggest impact player from USFL to NFL. They don't say on opening day.
Or in the second half. Phil Smith is back to return Steve Cox's punt. That's way up there. And into the end zone. That had a 5.2 hang time, and it was just outside his obvious field goal range. Steve had a 55-yarder to end the first half, and that plus the coaching job that Gibbs did.
Steve Cox is a kicker from Arkansas. Do you know any other kickers from Arkansas?
There's a guy named Summerall somewhere.
That's the guy.
The kicker.
Yeah, he's doing tennis today. He'll be back next week out in L.A.
He's the guy that was a teammate of Miller Barber's at Arkansas, right?
That's right.
Which gives you something about that could be on the senior golf tour.
Could be on he got a scholarship. You know, a scholarship was a tennis scholarship. Right. It could be on that tour, and he did, of course, play in the NFL. Man of many, many talents.
Is Pat a bubber? No bubber. Dexter Manley came across.
I think he was pulled off sides on that one. That'll go against the Eagles.
False start, 88 offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
John Spagnola pulled him off. But Dexter better watch it because he went off there and when it hit some guy, it could be another one.
Let's see, that's the 10th penalty against Philadelphia now. 31-3, Atlanta leading New Orleans in the fourth quarter. First down 15 with 28 seconds to go in the third quarter. Been that way most of the second half. Dave Butts.
Dave Butts is looking like he's saying to Jaworski, it's been a long day, and we're 2 old guys. But Butts helped him out. Watch him. He's trying to go deep to Byers up the sideline. He had to come off it. He came off it, and there was Dave Butts, followed real closely by Charles Mann.
4th Redskins sack today. Final few seconds of the third quarter. Wind down. 34-14. Second down and 23. Jaws says, I got one more down, and Randall's going to come in. Spagnola makes the catch and gets it up near the 27-yard line. That will be the final play of the third quarter. That's the end of the third quarter with our score. The Washington Redskins 34, the Eagles 14. We're back for the final 15 at RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. I'm Vern Lundquist, sitting in for Pat Summerall along with John Madden. And it has been an all-Redskin celebration in the second half. Charles Mann comes across offside. Junior Tonalossi gets a 3 down. And if the play does stand and Mann wasn't drawn offside, the Eagles, I expect, will take the play. As Tonalossi gets his longest run of the day. That run equaled the number of letters in his name.
Well, you see him clapping, so that means it's against the Redskins. See, the players hear it first. When they hear one official tell the referee, oh, here comes another official. Maybe they're going to change it.
They have to have a consensus here.
The other official's Burl Toller. Well, Burl was one of those guys that came out of USF, one of those great football players with Ollie Matson and that group, and Gino Marchetti. And
it was an inadvertent whistle that stopped the play. We're going to penalize the defense 5 yards. Inadvertent whistle stopped the play.
Well, he's pointing toward the offense. And Jaws wants an explanation now.
I think what happened is they penalized the Redskins, but said that the whistle blew, so it was no play. So the play didn't count, but they pick up a 5-yard penalty, which gives them a first down.
So they lost a couple, and Tonalossi loses his largest run of the day. First down and 10. 14:45 to go in the game. Jaworski, Michael Haddix at the 35 for a couple. Haddix, number 26. Tackle made by Vernon Dean.
You know, I think in these preseason previews, one of the teams that has been a little forgotten is this Washington Redskin team. You know, a lot of people pick the Giants. They think they're the best, and then they always talk about Dallas next, and then they talk about Buddy Ryan, the new coach of the Eagles, and for whatever reason, the Redskins have been left out a little, and I think, you know, that they're the team that's going to be contending in this division.
Buddy Ryan said he thought they were the class of the division. I'm sure he feels that way now. That pass is complete at the 40-yard line to John Spagnola, number 88.
That was the thing that Ron Jaworski was talking about, that he felt comfortable with Spagnola working what they call the hash area, the hash mark area, where you just get in there and sit and find those openings in the middle of the field.
That's the second catch for Spagnola in the second half. John, who was another of the contract holdouts for the Eagles. Shotgun formation on 3rd and 3, and Cunningham does not come in. Jaworski completes the pass. That'll be another Eagle first down. Michael Quick. Vernon Dean made the tackle.
Hey, Wendy, this Redskin defense has done a good job against Mike Quick, because we're watching here number 82, one of the best wide receivers in National Football League. And they've really kept him under wraps today, because I think if anyone was going to beat the Redskins today, it would have to be Quick. They'd have to do it with him, and they haven't done it.
That's his 4th catch, but 41 yards and no touchdowns. First down and 10. The Eagles have the ball at the 50-yard line. Water ball, flag down. Intended for Byers. Motion over on the left side. Waters is on the bench now. There's Vernon Dean. Tripping, Philadelphia.
That can't be against poor Tom Gillespie again. Gillespie's already had one tripping.
77 offense.
It is.
Tripping. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Poor Gillespie, he has 20 yards and just tripping alone. Just a tripping 20 yards.
Let's see.
That doesn't count jumping off sides and holding and the other stuff.
2 holdings and 2 trippings.
Yeah, well, he had some other stuff, too.
Yeah.
Didn't he have an offsides or something? Hitting to the face or something? Hitting to the
right.
head? Then he had some other. He's had the whole deal. He's taken that whole smorgasbord of them.
having the kind of day that Kevin Allen had last year in the first game of the season against the Giants. First down and 20. 12:37 to go in the ball game. Here comes Manley right by Gillespie, and Jaws was in the grasp. Now Jaworski and Charles Mann. Jaworski got up and heaved the football at him.
Looked like their face mask got entangled there. Jaworski saying, "Oh, what the heck?" He's smiling about it.
Feisty.
He said, "I'm not a fighter." But I tell you, Dexter Manley is going to run right by Tom Gillespie. Watch him on the top of the screen. Gillespie's in a left-handed stance. He goes to set up, but he really never gets Manley, and Manley gets Jaworski. And then Butts is going to fall on him after all that. Then he's going to start a fight with Charles Mann. I think what Jaworski's mad about, he throws the ball at Mann, is that when Manley got him, they blew the whistle in the grass.
Second down and 30 with 12:13 to go. Draw play. Haddix up to the 46. Darrell Green made the tackle with help from Mel Coffin.
That's Joe Conwell in there at left tackle now. I guess they figured that Gillespie, with his penalties and problem he's been having with Dexter Manley, they're going to get a new guy in there. He brought his arms with him. Gillespie said, "What? That's been a tough day." They say guys that take a lunch pail and punch the clock, go to work for 8 hours, have a tough day. Can't be any tougher than this one.
I don't know about this starting stuff. 3rd and 15. It'll be 4th and 17. Steve Hamilton.
I'll tell you, he's there. There's Joe Conwell. He's number 79. That's that guy. He has his hands down there. He didn't even get in a stance. He just had him ready. He said, "I'm going to get started there." He got a little help there from his running back, but he does a pretty good job. Stays with him. He goes, whoo.
John Delchick on the punt. Fair catch called by Gary Clark at the 21. He's got it. And we've got 11 minutes still to go in the ball game. Washington led by, and they've gone back to the jumbo formation for the moment. Jay Schrader in quarterback. Play fake. And Schrader slides with what appears to be a first down up to 32. Joe Theismann at his best.
I'll tell you, if that were an organized play, that would surprise me. You know, when you have the lead 34-14 and the quarterback running an organized play would surprise me. But it didn't look like it was a misplay. And Schrader's smiling, so maybe it was a pretty good one.
Lendl and Maitre for the U.S. Open men's singles final. That's coming up next on CBS, live from the National Tennis Center in New York City. First down and 10 Redskins with 10:15 to go in the ball game. They have owned the second half.
That looked like a play that you would run the first day at training camp. You know, the first time all the guys get there and they're kind of waddling around. Boom, both sides jump off sides.
Ball start, 73 offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Mark May is the guilty party, so judged this time.
Wasn't that an ugly play, though? I mean, all the guys, yeah, they all get down there and they all go running right by each other and nothing happens.
That looked like a bunch of bubbas.
Flopping around.
Detroit's lead 3 over Minnesota. First down and 15. George Rogers out to the 29-yard line.
Tell you another thing, I think that this offensive line of the Redskins, we talked about, you know, that this could be one of the best lines in football. They've really done a job, especially in the second half, on Reggie White. I think Reggie White is one of the dominant players. It's going to be one of the dominant players. In fact, Buddy Ryan said he's the best defensive lineman he's ever coached. But this second half, he's been rather silent.
I want to talk about the offensive line thing here in a minute. Second down and 12. Kelvin Bryant heading right. a little weave, cuts back, and they've stopped him this time. John, do you have anybody in mind as the best offensive group you've ever seen as a line?
Well, you know, I always had some good offensive line, so I would have to say that group. I think you know, the Rams have always had a good group. I think these Redskins are in that type of thing. You know, with that, you know, with the big guys and the strong guys, and they line up 4 guys across that row that have all been Pro Bowl players.
Final, Detroit defeats Minnesota 13-10 in the Humphrey Dome in Minneapolis. 3rd down and 12. 34-14, 8:25 to go in the ballgame. Kelvin Bryant, no, it's the deep man, Gary Clark, to the 29-yard line, right in front of Evan Cooper. And that pass was 55 yards and on a string.
I think that you may have been right, though. Kelvin Bryant thought he was going to catch it, too. Gary Clark is a deep guy. Bryant, number 24, is right underneath him. Bryant was going for the ball, goes right over his head, and there's Gary Clark there. Makes a nice adjustment.
I thought it was Kelvin.
Well, Kelvin Bryant was still going for it. That's one of the things where Clark was running inside to the post, and Bryant was running right up the hash mark. And they come close to going into each other. You know, that could have been thrown to Bryant, and Clark just played it like a center fielder. Caught the ball. See, there's Bryant there.
That was a gain of 42 yards and a first down at the 29, and George Rogers is back in the lineup now. Breaks the tackle inside the 25 to the 23 on his 16th carry. And very quietly, George Rogers is closing in on a 100-yard rushing afternoon.
I think he'll have a lot of those 100-yard rushing afternoons. It was interesting after that play. The reason that George Rogers in there is Bryant took himself out. He raised his hand, you know, went like this. Hey, I'm tired. I need some oxygen or something. And he went to the sideline.
7 minutes to go in the ball game. 2nd down, 5. 34-14. Washington leads. Rogers, blocking help from Warren and Mark May. He cuts back to his left inside the 20 and into the arms of number 98, Greg Brown.
You know, they're running that play. That's that same play that we talked about that John Riggins made famous, that counter tray, run to the right. But both Rogers and Bryant run it a little different than Riggins did. Riggins would take it right up in that 6 hole, that off-tackle hole between the tight end and the tackle. And both of these guys tend to bounce it out or take it outside a little more.
3rd and 1. Rogers stays in. And Don Warren also is in the background. Now he comes to the left side. Rogers did not get it. He is cut short at the 20-yard line. Mike Reichenbach, number 55.
It'll be interesting to see if Joe Gibbs kicks the field goal here, goes for it on 4th down. He's already gone for 1 4th down and picked it up.
Looks like he's going to do it again. Mosley will stay on the sideline. Nope, starts in, comes back. Okay, Coach.
Yep. Joe said, go for it. What the heck? It's opening day. Let's straighten this thing out. Hey, they've been having trouble there running that left side. I wouldn't be surprised if they used some type of fake. You know that one where they faked and Schrader
on the rollout?
Bad one. Or maybe a fake and some kind of short pass is a possibility.
4th and 1 from the 20 of the Philadelphia Eagles. Coming left. Rogers, maybe. Jacoby says he's got it.
Joe Gibbs doesn't like it, though. There's something about that play he didn't like. Let's see it again. We'll see the short yardage right up here off the left side. To follow right into that crease. He cut back in there a little late, but he got enough for the 1st down.
1st and 10, Washington, and Kelvin Bryant is back in the ballgame. Bryant, thus far today, with 34 yards on the ground and 76 yards catching the football. 2 touchdowns. Impact player. Breaks the tackle and gets down near the 16-yard line. And Darby and Waters.
You know, one of the things that impressed Joe Gibbs about and Bobby Beathard, the general manager of the Redskins, about Kelvin Bryant, is that he said he knows everyone. He's one of those guys that studies players. He knows every player in the Redskin team, knew their numbers, knows all the opponents, all the players in the other team, their statistics, numbers, all those types of things. But he's not only a player, but he's always been a fan of NFL football.
And that's sometimes rare among players, isn't it?
Oh, there are a lot of guys that don't even know their own names and numbers of their own team.
Second down and 8. Schrader looks left, wants to throw left, does throw left. Incomplete, intended for Monk.
That's one of those option plays that Monk ran on that time, where you start to the inside, then if the guy covers you to the inside, you pivot and go back to the outside. Schrader's mad at himself because he threw one of those short hoppers, as he calls them.
Mentioned that coming up next, the U.S. Open men's singles final, Lendl against Meijer. Meijer yesterday ousted Boris Becker, and Lendl has had kind of a romp to the final so far. That's next on CBS. 3rd and 8 from the 16. First down at the 5, Gary Clark. His 7th catch of the day.
You know, one thing about those balls, that once in a while Schrader will short hop one into the guy, but the best place to throw a ball like this on an out as this is, or a comeback or a hook, is down low, because you can't intercept that ball. The ones that get intercepted are the high ones. So he throws them down low where either Clark gets them or no one gets them.
7 for an even 100, and now the Redskins have a first down and goal from the 5 with 3:39 to go in the ball game. Rogers back in at the tailback spot. Touchdown! Well, 1 year ago, the Redskins were walloped by the Cowboys 44-14 in the season opener. And they are about to just exactly reverse that. Rodgers goes over 100 yards. The Redskins have won 25 straight. Now they can talk about that. See, now it makes sense. And Mosley gets the extra point, a 78-yard drive in 12 plays. And it's a 41-14 deficit staring Buddy Ryan and his team in the face, and they've got only 3:36 remaining in the game. Remaining in the ball game, it's a Washington rout now, 41-14. They had a 20-14 lead at the half, 21 unanswered points, and George Rogers with 104 yards so far in the ball game to start the 1986 season. Super Bowl in '84. Well, this next Super Bowl will be on CBS.
That's held up pretty good. If I wear anything for like 3 years like that, it's just a rag.
Hey, how about Bobby Beathard's coat?
Oh, yeah. That's held up. You don't dress up. Bobby Beathard doesn't dress up. How many years was that?
Here's the kick. Back in 1974, Bobby Beathard was a guest on a radio show in Dallas that I was doing, and we gave him a blazer, a blue blazer. He comes up to John and me yesterday, and he was going to Ed Williams' daughter's wedding, and he says, "I'm wearing the coat." I said, "What coat?" He said, "The one you gave me." I said, "Bobby, that was '74. It's 12 years ago." I said,
right.
"Hang on to it. It goes out of style, comes back, goes out, comes back again."
Yeah, the lapels go in, they go out, they go in, they go out.
The coat had held up remarkably well. I think the store has gone out of business.
Yeah, you know, when you don't dress up much, like Bobby doesn't dress up, then you don't wear out coats. They can stay with you.
From the shotgun, first down. 3:30 to go in the game. Boy, Haddix takes a shot from Barry Wilbur, number 45. Buddy Ryan in his first game as an NFL head coach at the age of 52. Of course, he is not alone. Jerry Burns, the new head coach of the Vikings, lost today. Gene Stallings is trailing 16-10, and Jim Mora of the Saints was defeated 31-10.
The fans are yelling, Buddy, 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 and he's waving to him.
I'm glad he's using all 5 fingers.
I'm smiling.
That was a bad snap, and the pass, as a result, is behind Jaworski. Philadelphia had a 3-yard edge in total offense in the first half, but look at the domination of the Redskins in the second, 229-42.
You know, I think sometimes in the opening games, you know, part of that is we talked about a halftime adjustment. The other is you watch preseason, and they don't do the things that they're going to do in preseason. And sometimes it takes a quarter or a half to figure out what a team is really doing.
Denver with an early lead over the Raiders at Mile High in Denver. 3rd down and 10, 3:22 to go in the game. That'll be short of the first down at the 27-yard line. Mike Quick, number 82, made the tackle. Coming up next, the U.S. Open's men's singles final. Levi Mundell, Miroslav Mechir. Joe Gibbs about to go 2-4 as a head coach on opening day. And Jay Schrader has to be fairly well pleased with his productivity today.
I think Jay Schrader is going to have a long run here.
Do you?
He was one of those guys who really didn't play much football in high school, played very little in college, and has played very little in pro football. So it's really all ahead of him. I mean, he has one of those bodies that hasn't been used.
That's a real good point.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you look at some of these old Redskin quarterbacks that are hanging around here today. You know, Sonny Jurgensen, Billy Kilmer. Those are real used bodies.
Yeah, they are well used, as a matter of fact. 3:12 to go in the game. Sammy Ball looks good, though. Timeout. We'll be back in a minute.
Defended champions, and I think Buddy is just looking like he's going to go out and have some fun and put the pressure on the other guys.
That will be the first game of our doubleheader next week, followed by the Rams and the 49ers. There is John Telchik's punt. Buffalo leading the Jets 7-0, and Jim Kelly had his first National Football League touchdown in that game.
Now, if you talk about an impact, there's the guy I think over the long run it's going to be the impact. The new player coming into this NFL is Jim Kelly.
Gary Clark comes over to the sideline. 41-14 with 3:05 to go. Well, we were talking about the general manager who was John's roommate at Cal Polytech San Luis Obispo, right?
That's right. Bobby was a quarterback, and now he's a general manager of this team. I'll tell you, he's done an outstanding job here. I mean, he's been in the NFL, you know, as a talent scout for Kansas City, Miami, for years here with Redskins. And he's done an outstanding job of building teams and keep bringing in new young players.
That, by the way, was not a 12-year-old shirt. Keith Griffin in the lineup. Tackle made by Jody Schultz, number 95.
I'll tell you one thing, you know, let's watch Reggie White here. He really hasn't been heard from much here. I think this offensive line has done a pretty good job on him. Early in the game, it looked like he was winning the battles, and now, in the second half, it doesn't look like he's won as many. Of course, that one there, I guess maybe he did win that. You know, R.C. Thielman, who's blocking him, had reconstructive knee surgery last year, and it looks like he has a tough time planting that leg in the ground.
Second down now with 2:20 to go in the ball game. Derek Holloway in motion. Keith Griffin comes left. Gets by Bernard Wilson, number 22, and is down at the 22.
Here's Reggie White down there in the pits. We see Jacoby coming down to block him. He plays off that nicely, comes right straight down the line. So you don't run where the back was, you run where he's going to. And then look what happens when he gets here. Boom, that's a bulldog job.
2-minute warning is upon us. The Redskins will win it. They lead right now 41-14. Today's game here on CBS. We are about 2 minutes away from that in actual game time now. And a 3rd down and 6 for the Redskins with a 41-14 lead. Keith Griffin skips to the outside, cuts back to the inside, and will be brought down short. There is Mark Mosley, and many folks have wondered what he keeps inside that foot in the shoe.
Well, you know, he has that thing taped, so you see that. I've never seen it before, but when he took those socks off, you see that handful of socks? That's 4 socks I counted there. So what it does, he has that tape job, then he wears 4 socks over the tape job, and then right there, and then the kicking shoe. So that's, you know, everyone said he had a loaded shoe, he has this, he had that. I've never seen it, and right there in living television, he took his shoe off and showed the foot and stuff.
The mystery is gone.
Yep.
The romance is over.
So 4 soccer.
Steve Cox with the punt. Bill Smith with the return. Sort of. And he's down at the 22-yard line. Alvin Walton, number 40, and Phil Smith exchanging words. We are told that the Cardinals ran out of time on the 1-yard line in their game against the L.A. Rams. So the Rams are 1-0 and St. Louis 0-1. 41-31, and Jim McMahon, who missed much of the preseason, got knocked out of this game with an injured right shoulder. Chicago leading 41-31, and of course, coming up next, Lindell and Machier. They might both emigrate by the time we get to that. First down and 10. Here's Jaworski across the middle, in and out of the hands of Michael Haddix. And that kind of a second half for the Eagles. This telecast is presented by the authority, I get choked up to read this, of the National Football League, and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Washington Redskins and the National Football League is prohibited. Clock stopped with 1:01 to go in the game. 41-14. Jaworski has thrown it 39 times. He's completed 22. He'll hand it off. Tuttle Latossi. Barry Wilburn. They go out of bounds together. And that stops the clock with 55 seconds to go.
I don't think Buddy wanted him to get out of bounds on that play. He probably thinks in this one it's our first one, and let's just get it over and go on in. Look who's standing behind Buddy.
I'd stay way behind him.
I don't know who's had the longest day, Buddy Ryan in his first day as a head coach in the NFL, or Julaski playing behind him, or maybe this guy, number 12, Randall Cunningham. Every time he'd go in, it would be like 3rd and 30. Okay, Randall, we just need 32 yards for a first down.
It's 3rd and 7, and Cunningham stays on the bench. Jaworski is in. Tuttle Latossi with 2 men in front of him. Close to the first down, fumbles. And it's recovered by the Redskins. Dexter Manley has gone the autographs already. There is Sonny Jurgensen working with Frank Herzog and Sam Huff in the radio booth. That's Frank Herzog in the middle and Sam Huff to the right-hand side. Now that, John, is the home radio booth. Now that's a pretty good sight line. You're right down here low. The visiting radio booth is way up under the ceiling. You pull back and you go. I know. I did 12 years of radio. Way up there. That's where Merrill Reese and Stan Walters are. You get up there, and that's what they see. Not only that, there is one public facility up there, and it hasn't worked since 1968. You're a long way from home. That is where the pigeons fly below you. Final 40 seconds to go. Dave Butts. When will he smile?
I don't think he will. He's been in the game too long.
When will they smile?
I tell you, they were a lot happier about 4 hours ago.
Butts has got a buddy.
That's his son. You can tell that. I mean, that's a young Butts. I mean, that looks like the old Butts and the young Butts got that same face going.
That'll do it. As as the final 5 seconds unwind here at RFK Stadium. Coming up next, Gwendolyn may cheer. For John Madden, this is Vern Lundquist saying so long from RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C., where the final score was the Redskins 41 and the Philadelphia Eagles 14. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.